Welcome to On the Hill Podcast. All right, and we're back.
Back on the hill.
Back on the hill, man. We got a special guest today. We got the real name is Troy C. Clayle Jr., right?
Yep.
That's right. But AKA, man, Boompa.
The Silver Fox.
Yeah, in my case, Dad. And we got him here live on the podcast. So, you're part of the inspiration for the show, man.
Well, I'm happy to be on the hill.
Yes. So grew up on Happy Hill Road, baby. All right, so I'm going to let Eric kind of run the show, man. I've been listening to the past shows. I feel like I'm always running the show, man.
We got to be talking, so
yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah, so I know you've watched some of the shows, but so we kind of give like a little intro. But if you don't know, so Eric does his version of what on the hill means.
Mm-hmm. So whenever people come over to my house or over here, they always say we're coming over to the hill.
Oh yeah.
They don't say like let's go to Eric's house. They're like let's go to the hill tonight. So that's where it's just like a slogan that I've always used and Dad's always used and now my friends use. So
oh no, just getting around.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because like I'll send Russ a text and say, bring your ass to the hill.
Yep.
Yeah, so
that's my version. Dad has a more version.
So we when we did the first recording, so we don't plan any of these recordings. So we talked the first episode. We had to do a pilot and said, hey, what's on the hill to us? And I'm thinking about the Jesus Christ on the hill on the mount.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, so on the hill to us, really it's about people's stories, and the biggest story of all time is, of course, Christ and his resurrection. But he actually passed on the hill. So the other part of it is like the Christian message is bear your cross and climb the hill. So I mean you've done that. I mean I've said you like the original David Goggins, man. you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we'll get into all the things you've done over your life, but yeah, like the one of the original OGs. All right, so I guess you want to introduce yourself. So,
well, I don't know what I can say. Yeah, everybody calls me Skip.
That's it. That's what I was gonna say, AKA Skip. Yeah, how the hell did I miss that? I don't call you Skip.
Forever and ever, I've been known as Skip.
So how did you get the nickname Skip?
In my mind, or at least the story I've been told, was that my mother insisted that I not be called the same thing my father was called.
Troy, right?
Well, my father was actually called Clayle by his mother, and so my grandmother, his mother, sort of went along with my mother on that thing, and that's how I ended up with Skip.
Hey.
Of course, I was born, at that time in the the baby boomer stuff, where it was the right thing to do to have nicknames.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just was part of the generational thing there.
Now, is that a nickname for Troy?
No.
It's just
no, just that way. But an interesting thing about Skip, if you really want to hear that,
yeah, hell yeah.
I was in the 8th grade, and there was two guys in the class named Skip. Two guys in my history class named Skip.
Dang.
And the other guy was named Skip Boyce, and he lived right up here on the Harrogate Road. We used to play football in his yard all the time. And but anyhow, the only male teacher in the 8th grade was my history teacher, and he said, "I'm not having two Skips." He started calling that guy Chip and me Skip, and that stuck.
Really?
And that guy from then on was always Chip Boyce, not Skip.
Dang.
So he changed his own nickname.
Yep, just like that.
Well, I guess his classmates, probably changed it. He probably.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody went along with it.
Damn. That's pretty
I
interesting.
guess he just went home one day and said,
I'm Chip.
told his mom and dad, stop calling me Skip. Call me Chip. I mean, what?
Can't
What
make
can
that
you say?
shit up.
No, that's for real.
I mean, I'd be a little offended if my son came home and said, hey, my teacher just changed my nickname.
Think about it.
I'd be like, bro, is there a problem? I mean, I'd have to see him in person,
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, his father was a doctor, too. Dr. Boyce right over here on Harrogate Road.
Dr. Boyce. Yeah, I think about, he lived far down towards the middle.
Right off Treeley Road. You know how you turn right across from Harrogate? Right across from Harrogate Elementary School, there's this big open field right there, and you turn on Treeley Road. We used to play football there all the time.
Huh.
is it still there, that house?
I don't know.
'Cause
Maybe.
I know there's that big,
There's a couple big houses along there.
one has a big fence with the horses and stuff in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's closer towards Colonial Heights.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the. Anyway, all right. Because there's a girl went to Thomas Dale, and she was, special needs or whatever. But I thought her dad was a doctor. But I don't think the last name was Boyce though.
Mm-hmm.
It must have been something different. I'm trying to think of her brother's name. But anyway, that's off the topic. But all right, so you grew up. You actually were born in Virginia Beach, right?
Yes, yeah. My father was a bricklayer, and of course in that time, it was pretty much a nomadic occupation, if you want to call it that. I mean, you just went to where the work was.
Yeah.
And at that particular time, they were working down there, and I had an uncle and an aunt down there, and they, so it was. And this particular guy that was my uncle there, my Uncle Boyd, he and my dad had served in the Navy together, and maybe even introduced introduced him to my mother. Maybe it's a possibility that my aunt did. I don't know that story completely, but anyhow, yeah, that's where we lived.
Yeah,
just right on. Well, of course, I can't say Virginia Beach. This is right in the trailer park, right at the very edge of Norfolk and Virginia Beach. If you see what I mean. Mm-hmm. We probably lived in a something smaller than the RV you have out there.
You think so?
Oh yeah, initially.
Huh.
Yeah. And it was 5 of y'all.
Oh no, I was the first child, of course. It was just three of us. Yeah,
the three.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just three of us at that point. But my brother Jimmy was born there too, I think. But
Did y'all move? Did y'all go right to Chester from there?
Yeah, we lived in North Carolina for a while.
Damn. Tar Heel, baby.
Yeah, down that way, back to where my dad was from, and then we took a little stint out to the southwestern part of the state, out in Christiansburg.
Okay.
And then we moved to still in this trailer park thing. Mm-hmm. They moved out on Jeff Davis Highway, so I could say I'm from off the pike, so to speak.
Jeez. That's got to be a song. We talk about songs later.
Yeah, man, heck yeah.
Off the
Living
pike.
on the pike. I mean,
I just remember as a kid, man. I didn't know you had that experience though. Called a pike a dyke or something.
Yeah, that's right. Just pike and night.
Pike and night.
Just to be a pike and night, yeah.
Oh, pike and night.
Yeah.
It's a pike and
Pike and night.
Oh damn! I thought it was pike a dyke.
Nah, not pike and dyke. Pike and night.
That's something different.
What is pike a night? Is it you just stayed on the pike for a night?
No, like the word it ends in nit, as if you were
like
from some.
if you're from a place, you're
from a place, you're
a Mennonite or like
Mennonite.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, or exactly.
Wow.
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Something like that.
I guess I read an article that said Diet Coke kills your brain cells. I guess. I never put that shit
possibility.
together. I spent the 40 years or 50 years thinking it was pike a dyke.
Yeah, pike and night. So anyhow, yes, we lived on the pike. We lived just below Moore's Lake.
Oh.
Or just north of Moore's Lake. You remember where that was?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, so we lived in this trailer park there, and we could just walk out into the woods, and we're probably a very short distance. It's hard to remember. But we could go over to Moore's Lake and watch people swimming and stuff. Just look over the fence, and those things. Of course, my mom would take us to Moore's Lake every now and then, but we'd sneak away and go over there and hang around at the at the pavilion and that kind of stuff.
So people that don't know, like Moore's Lake, is that what year you think? That was probably what?
Oh, I don't know about. Go ahead.
What year you think it was?
I'm telling you, it's probably something about like 59, 58
Almost,
or 59,
yeah, late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was like this big lake in this area, and it had a pavilion. It had like I guess it was a maintained lake for safety so you could get in the water.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a chlorine lake. It was this.
Oh no, it's just a regular lake.
Yeah.
It was probably. I'm sure it was probably spring fed.
Yeah, and it was like, I mean, it was. I went there as a kid, and it had like a high diving board, sliding boards,
hump siding board.
Yeah.
Are those like you said they're real sketchy, like.
There was no sides on it. It's just like imagine a sliding board at an old school playground, but double the height.
Right.
I mean,
you could get some air off the hump.
Oh yeah. I mean, let me tell you something, dude. I mean, and yours was probably even more real than mine. But I mean, yeah, there were no safety features. I mean, you just went for it.
Yeah, that was fun.
Nobody got hurt that I know of. Shit. Just added to it. So I mean, so you were probably how old do you think you were going up to the Moore's Lake?
Probably 6, 7, somewhere in that area.
You think you're checking out women then at 6 and 7?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Watching people swim?
Oh, you bet.
That's why they're at the fence.
And
that's all I was going to ask. What the hell were they doing at the fence?
Because they had a beach there, a little sandy beach and that kind of stuff. And depending on when you got there and what time. Of course, it was always in the summertime.
Yeah.
But people rode guys would ride their cars around and beat the horns at women and stuff like that.
That's a living right there, bro.
That's just what it was about. Yeah.
Wow.
And you could go there and get you could get like a hot dog with chili was always good, or they had these I can remember the smell of these cream horns, you know,
Man, that thing's
the cream
good.
horn things. Well, they were outstanding.
That's still good.
Now, was it with the fence? Was it private? Like, did you have to pay to get in?
You had to pay to get in. Yes, you had to go through. You had to pay to go in, but I don't remember how much it was. But they did a couple of things. You know, when you went in, they stamped your hand, you know, with some kind of you know indelible ink, and if you used the locker room, they had this little locker room where you could go change clothes, and there had these baskets, and they had these huge pins, huge safety pins, that were, I mean, probably an eighth of an inch in diameter. That's how big they were, and you just snap those through your trunks. And that's how and somebody, you know, and this is where you get a summertime. I didn't ever work there, but you get a summertime job in the basket room, you know, taking people's clothes in and out, and you know, that kind of stuff. That's really old.
That's crazy.
That's
old-fashioned
old school.
stuff.
So I mean, somebody always kept. I guess nothing went missing because people just watched it. It was it was in a safe area. I guess
It was totally different.
Yeah, as long as the people were honest that worked there.
Yeah, it was completely different.
So when
It's fair to say it was different clientele altogether.
So when you say that you went up to this fence and he's picturing like a chain link fence, I'm picturing like a farm fence. Like,
Yes.
that's what it was, right? A white
Yeah, it was
fence.
like white picket fence.
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
Because I
No,
remember.
it was also like chain link.
Yeah, but the reason I'm saying that is it's funny because where Sylvester's was, there was a fence that Tommy had that separated him from the neighborhood behind him or the trailer
Exactly.
park behind him. But that's the kind of fencing it was.
It was that kind of fence. Sure.
That's just wild, man.
And was it the
I
same
know
way
exactly
when
what
you were
you meant.
going there?
Yeah,
With
I am.
the-
With that fence, yeah. I mean, it was kind of, was it run down by that time? Was it?
Oh no.
Even when I went as a kid, though, I mean.
Yeah, I guess when we took you there, it was probably it wasn't.
Yeah,
but,
it was pretty-
you know, but things were different then. You
Yeah,
know,
it was different.
by that point.
Yeah, and it was different, man. Like, you know, they knew if you were from that area or you were just some
Absolutely.
kid that didn't believe.
Oh.
They're probably kids that went there every day and you were just like somebody in the.
You weren't a pike a night.
Nah. On a pike night, man. They knew that shit, man. And those cats could get down. Like, they were doing like, you know, what you call it, a 1.5
One and a
into a
half on
dive.
the high dive. Yeah, sure.
What's the one when you go to the gator?
tall was it?
Full gainer off the high dive. Sure.
How tall was the diving board?
At least 10 feet.
I would say 12. More than
12.
that. I would say 12 feet at least.
God.
I
Long
tried to
way
do
down.
it off. I tried to do a flip and do like a belly flop. That was the last time I'm doing that shit. I just swam. And the cool part was it had like a deck. Like when you go down to Point of Rock Park that goes over the water. That's what you walked around on to get to the different parts of the.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, like a boardwalk.
boardwalk, yeah.
Boardwalk in the water. And then water would spray up through it. They had little fountains that came up through the boardwalk, which made it kind
Why
of
is this
interesting.
Why did it shut down?
Safety reason, I guess.
Oh, yeah, just health reasons. Yeah,
Yeah.
Big Brother or something, you know. They decided.
Yeah, these aren't safe. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that was cool, man. All right, so then the pike, and then you end up. What did you end up on chalk?
Yeah, we moved out. I guess when my dad and mom and dad finally got a little bit of money, you know, we moved out there onto Chalkley Road, and because that was in the country at that point.
Right.
At that point, you're truly still in the country, and believe it or not, I mean, it was just. I mean, you just don't know what to say. I could ride my bicycle to Chester and take my dog with me,
Wow.
and you know, no worries,
So there were no subdivisions or
none of that. No, very low traffic.
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And when was that? Like in the
Probably, it's hard for me to remember, but I would say I was probably 12 or something. You know,
Okay.
mid 60s.
so by then Charles was
My brother was, yeah, sure, yeah, both my brothers were there then. Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
and then ever since you've been
I
Chester.
hung out in Chester.
you've been
yeah.
Chester night.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Chester something, yeah, whatever you call it. But I wasn't a Chester. I'm not really like one of the real Chester socialites, if you will. You know, the people from Chester.
Yeah.
That's a totally different thing. Now you can say you're from Chester, but if you're not really from there unless you're from 3 or 4 streets.
Oh, yeah. What were the streets? Yeah.
Downtown Chester, like
okay.
Winfrey Street,
Yeah.
Richmond Street, Petersburg Street,
Dang.
like that. Percival. If you were from those, then you were
That
you
was
were
it.
it.
You were legit. Yeah. But, well,
I
shoot.
experienced that in Colonial Heights the other day. I was doing some work on some houses, and there's some older ladies. You could tell they've lived there for
Oh yeah,
probably forever.
yeah.
And they
for
all
sure.
knew, because I was at one house, and then I went down like not even quarter of a mile to this other lady's house, and I was like, I was just on the road. She was like, I described the house and she knew exactly who it was. She's like, Miss
Right.
So-and-so. She's like, yeah, she's crazy. And they were all retired. And
Right.
I walked into one house and they were having like a little wine party at
Daggone right.
noon on like a Wednesday.
Was there any guys in there? Or just one chick? I mean, all chicks.
The little party was one of her husbands, but I'm guessing all the other ones were widowed. I'd assume, just living it up.
So where the house was, that's where the dude lived, the guy, and then
Yeah, but he wasn't really part. He was just sitting in the corner. He was shunned. I don't know.
Damn, he should have gone outside or something.
I thought he was gonna come out and hang out with me and watch me do stuff, but he was.
Nah.
I think he was making. He must have been in charge of the drinks and
Yeah, now you're talking.
getting the food ready.
And the odds were good for him, right? 5 to 1 or something.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's probably smarter than we thought. That's why he stayed inside. Mm-hmm. Old guys, they got it. Oh man! So you went to what? Curtis
Yeah, well, actually, I started.
from elementary school.
Yeah, in elementary. When I first started school, Curtis wasn't finished,
Right.
and so we started at Thomas Dale, which is the old Thomas Dale, the middle school now, I guess is what it is. We started there, and before that, everyone went to school there. Your mom went to school 1 through 12 there,
Oh, I got you. Okay.
and but you know. Everybody, that was just, you know, the first grade was there, and because there was no kindergarten at that time, they didn't have kindergarten, and so I was only in class about, I don't know, it's hard, I don't even remember, but not very long, and they took the whole first grade and moved us over to 2 churches, and in Chester, in a Methodist church and another church, and so we stayed there for about, I don't know, sure, who knows how long, but Curtis opened up, and probably after a month or 2 months or something. It was, so yeah, I was in the first grade at Curtis in the opening, the year it opened.
Dang.
Whatever that was.
And they made that 1 through 5,
6.
1 through 6.
Yeah, and then that's before the new Thomas Dale was built.
So
But by the time I got to the 6th grade, the new Thomas Dale was being built or was just about built or something.
Yeah.
Dang, that's cool. So you Curtis, Chester Middle, and then Thomas Dale.
We called it Chester Intermediate back then.
Intermediate
Yeah,
school.
It was an intermediate school.
Yeah. I think that. Yeah.
Then you did go to Dale, the
Yep,
new one.
Thomas Dale, yep.
Hell yeah, man.
The new one.
So I guess I'm thinking about mom must be a real Chester person because she was. I guess she was born. She raised on Harrogate Road.
Yeah,
I
she
think.
was raised
Oh,
on
right off
Harrogate Road,
Harrogate.
yeah.
Chester night. For real.
Just tonight.
Every time about
Thomasdale
like that.
Nights.
Yeah, our whole family went to Thomasdale. Well, even I was about to say except my wife, but she went too. I don't know what I'm thinking
Yeah,
about.
she did, sure. Yep.
Damn.
What about great granny?
Yep. Nah, she grew up Midlothian.
She grew up Midlothian. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, she had probably all in one school.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
1 through 12.
Yep.
I mean, anything you want to talk about like during those years, high school, any crazy stories or that you? I'm sure the statute of limitations have
Run out on this by now?
expired. Yeah.
I don't know.
So I mean, I know. So you in high school, then you joined the National Guard.
Yep. Yeah. And when I got, of course, back then, you had a number. You got a lottery number for the draft. So
That was during the Vietnam War.
the Vietnam War. Sure, my lottery number was low, 13, and so I just went ahead and enlisted into the National Guard.
Yeah, Air
The
National Guard.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that was right after you
After high school.
graduated?
Yeah. Right.
So
after
when
high
you said
school.
the number was 13, how did the higher numbers were first and the lower numbers were later or
No,
something?
the lowest numbers were first.
So you were-
before that.
You were
let's-
13?
Number 13. Yeah. They draw 365 numbers, and so they draw these numbers. You see, the lottery commission or whoever it was, not the lottery commission, but the draft board nationwide. They just on whatever day it was. Let's say January the 1st.
Yeah.
They draw these numbers, and it's got your birthday on it. So just my birthday's April 13th, and
Right.
my number was 13. All right, but it could have been 6'2" or 364. It wouldn't matter,
Yeah.
So the odds of you being drafted at that point, if you were say higher than 150, were pretty slim. At that point.
Yeah. But being 13.
Being 13, your odds are pretty good. And you really didn't know what was going to happen in the war, one thing then the other.
No.
And that's another whole issue. People in this country, it's fair to say that by that time a lot of people had enough of war.
Yeah.
And, we were
Oh,
done
yeah,
with it,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so anyhow, that's kind of how that got going.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know that unless just studying the Vietnam War and just. But I guarantee the average kid nowadays, under 30, have no idea.
Yeah, they
what,
just
what we're even talking about.
just don't, yeah, sure. It's
I mean,
like
they know
it's
about the
ancient
war.
history, yeah.
Yeah, it's ancient history, but
Yep.
yeah, because even as I was in elementary school. I remember us going to like somewhere, Fort Pickett or something, to get that pool. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the military was just in disarray at that time.
Yeah, sure.
It just gotten out of Vietnam, and people were just like, the hell with the military. So
Yeah.
they had like the bottom of the barrel people. Not my saying.
Yeah.
Not my, I mean, I'm going to clarify. I'm not saying about the people who fought in Vietnam, not like that. I'm saying anybody was still left or were enlisting full time. They weren't. People were like you said. The country was tired of that.
Yeah, but we're just tired. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
They're like, I'm not going in the military.
and eventually, went to an all-volunteer armed forces. Probably about my guess about 1976 or so.
That's probably the time frame I'm talking about. Yeah. So
And
Yeah.
it's maybe 76, 70. No, it's a little bit later than this.
the all-volunteer I think came around before that. But still,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
gotcha. I think when we
But,
were.
but to your point, the aftermath of it was that way probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people were just
That's
like,
fair.
yeah. I mean, I just think it's because I'm not going to put down the military ever, but I just think that at that point, people who had no other options were like, well, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Because people were like, we're worn out.
Yeah.
The Vietnam War lasted almost 20 years, give
Yeah.
and take. Well, not really.
No, not really.
In the 66 through 76
Well,
or
it was-
10.
Yeah, well,
65, baby.
I guess really, actually, we probably had people in there from about the late 50s, 59 or so.
yeah.
These people we just
Into
never
the-
knew about, and but more or less probably about 63 to 73. When they evacuated Saigon in 73, I think.
So,
Yeah.
10 years,
Yeah.
I should say 20. But yeah. Anyway,
But it was a hard, but it was a brutal time. And prior to the lottery, let's say, if you're not familiar with these things, a draft board met locally somewhere and would select people to go in. And of course, you can imagine that was just
Political.
ripe with
corruption. yeah.
corruption like crazy.
Yeah.
And you could get a college deferment. If you were in college and you get a college deferment, or if you were married, you might get out of it, or if you had a brother that was already there or something of that nature. There are ways to get a deferment around it.
Right.
Or people would try and do things where they were not physically. They would try to get a status, what was called 4F, where you weren't. You didn't meet the qualifications, the physical qualifications, let's say.
Yeah.
And the funny guys would try stuff like that, where they would, before you went to get onto the draft board to do your induction.
Yeah.
And you had to go register for the draft at 18. And at that time, you sort of did an induction type thing. But the way I remember this, right? But they might eat salt for a week or something, a lot of salt, so that when they showed up and took a urine test or something, everything would be out of
messed
kilter.
up.
Right, exactly.
Damn.
Yeah, but anyhow, that's
Cut that big toe off, man.
yeah, sure.
Jesus.
Jump off a ladder. Do what they could do.
Right.
Something.
The clock went off.
So joined the Air National Guard, and then
That's what really got me interested. I went to school in the Air Force to learn to be a firefighter.
right.
Yep.
And that's what you spent your whole career as a firefighter.
And eventually, when I came back, and a few years after that, I worked in a hardware store. But then I decided I wanted to go to work for Chesterfield Fire Department.
Yeah.
So I did that.
You for what? 15 years?
Yeah, well, I was there about 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
So
Made the-
before that, you were in the Air Force for
Oh, I was still in the guard.
in the guard. Okay.
Yeah, still in the guard for there.
Yeah.
We call it weekend warrior type thing.
Yeah.
That's what they call them.
But you had a lot of and throughout the years, I mean, we're just kind of jumping around, but like, because we're kind of skipping. You met mom, and then y'all got married, and
Sure.
then all that. But we can go to some of that. But anyway, so I just remember growing up around all those kind of guys, the firefighters, that firefighter mentality, and some of the, even now, well, not so much now because I'm older, but I could keep up when I
Yeah.
became a cop. I could just keep that conversation going, or that kind of that lifestyle, because
Yeah.
it's a different thing.
It is. It's it's fair to say that it's paramilitary.
Yeah, it's
so to speak.
paramilitary.
Yeah.
It has its own little culture,
Oh, absolutely.
and I just kind of slid right into the culture, and
Well, we always say this thing about cops. If you had scored 3 points higher on the entrance exam, you could have been a firefighter. right?
firefighter. Yeah, very true. Yeah, but I just remember like somebody's like, man, how the hell you learn how to talk like that or come up with some witty shit? And I was like, dude, I grew up around this shit. My dad's a firefighter, so they were like, okay. Of course, they had the same stuff. I never, you're right, 3 points higher, but I was never anti-firefighter because I grew up around those guys. Right. I knew they were cool as shit. But some people were, some cops were. And I was just like, what the hell is the beef, man? If we get hurt, that's who's going to save your damn life. What the hell are you talking about?
Jealous.
Yeah, probably jealous. You boys sleep good tonight. You know. But I mean, there were some, there's pretenders in every profession. So there were some firefighters that probably deserved.
Yeah, kids, they deserve that. You better believe it.
But most of them don't.
But it is. It's the public service stuff is a culture sort of into itself there, and particularly like in a fire station because. And even on the beat, I imagine it's the same way. The same guys you work all the time. But
same squad. Yeah.
In a fire station, there's guys that you depend on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you really have to say, like in most departments, you live a third of your life with those people.
I was going to say, you're there 24 hours at a time. So
you're on that shift 24 on, 48 off.
That's what we did.
Yeah. So, I mean, every agent, this is in Chesterfield, but so you imagine sleeping with the same cats all the time. Mm-hmm. You wake up, you get there in the morning, you're with them, you spend the night with them, wake in the morning, in that 24-hour period, eat, sleep, piss, shower.
You name it.
And of course, you put your life on the line for each other. So I can't imagine the practical jokes and stuff like that.
Oh, it was yeah, for sure. And there's all these subcultures that exist inside the ship. This person, that person, and whatever.
So I mean, I remember some of the stories you told me about. You were out, for something, and you came back, and you had your own locker.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, well, I'll let you tell the story. Yeah. So you were out for something. I can't remember.
I don't know.
Probably on drill or something.
Yeah, something. Who knows? I mean, it was off somewhere for a period of time. And this is commonplace for things, events like this to occur. But when I came back, it had this locker, a nice size locker, where just say 2 foot by 6 foot or something, where you could put your clothes in and all that. Mm-hmm. And in the bunk room was what we called an open bay bunk room. There's no individual partitions or walls or separate rooms or anything like that. Everybody slept in an open room, but these lockers sort of served as a barrier between you and the next bed.
Right.
So you get the picture of what it looks like lined up on the wall or something.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so you never really give much thought to what's going on around you. You show up in your civilian clothes and you go over and you open your locker door to change clothes, and there your uniform's hanging in there. And in this particular morning, like I said, I didn't pay attention to stuff, but so you just reach up and grab a hold of your shirt or your pants. Let's just say my pants. Grab a whole pair of pants to pull them out. Grabbed them, just pulled them, and they didn't come right out, so I just pulled them even harder.
Yeah.
Well, when I did, the whole locker and everything just falls over. The guys, sew your pants to the, to this towel, or to this bar in there, to this towel bar in there. Sew your pants in there. It was that kind of stuff, that would go on. And of course, these two guys were standing there watching when this happened, as you can well imagine. And they enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah, they did. Yeah.
And of course, then it took me because my shirt was sewn that way, my pants were sewn that way, and it took a while, for me to get dressed that morning.
Yeah. It probably took them a while to do that too.
Oh yeah, well there you go. They got too much time on their hands. Yeah.
I can't imagine, man. That'd be awesome. And then, go ahead.
I was like, when you started there, how many guys were in the?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
And the county was new to the career type guys. So we had volunteers at the time. Mm-hmm. I think our first paid guy was there in 1969, the chief, and Chief Eanes. And then from there, he sort of grew the department.
Yeah.
And we had 12 stations then, or 11, and we didn't have a number 9. But so I was in the first 50 people that were hired.
Wow, yeah, that's pretty cool.
77, so I was in the first 50 people. So
yeah,
sort of, and at that point, we were growing so fast. I mean, the county was just growing leaps and bounds because the whole county was growing, and so we never really stayed in one place more than a year, 18 months or something, and you get transferred elsewhere.
Yeah.
To another station.
Yeah, to another station.
Now, why was there no number 9?
There was a station 9 in the city that it used to be ours, and the city annexed it, so they just left the number 9 off.
Damn, that's crazy.
Now there's a 9.
Okay.
But in that particular time, there was no 9.
Wasn't a 9.
Yep.
I didn't know if it was like a superstition thing.
Nah,
Yeah,
nah,
lost
no.
number 9.
Well, like the 13th floor of a
Exactly.
hotel.
For a hotel. Sure.
Yep.
That's cool though. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know that. So then you stayed there 10 years. You end up being a sergeant. Worked your way up to
Yeah.
sergeant.
At that time, we had our first line supervisor. We called sergeants, where you were in charge of a shift, and then it would vary from 2 guys to 6, just depending where you were stationed and what your assignment was.
Yeah.
And the bigger stations sometimes would have 2 companies in it. They'd have a ladder truck and an engine, or they'd just be an engine company, or it'd just be a ladder company, or whatever. So I worked all around the entire county. So during that time, it was
Yeah, what was your first? I remember you worked in Midlothian, but I don't know if that was your
my first assignment was out in Manchester about Manchester on Route 360,
Right.
beside the high school.
Yep.
And there was an aerial ladder there, and we called it truck 2, and open cab aerial ladder, 100-foot Peter Persh tractor drawn, so you could require the guy in the back end to till the truck, and the guy in the front to drive when you worked.
Did you ever do
worked
that?
Together. So, oh yeah, sure, yeah.
You were the till man, right?
Both. I mean, I would drive around till them. Of course, you had to do all jobs.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it's a matter of time before you get, you don't start out driving or tilling. You have to learn that. You start out riding in what's called a jump seat, and which is a fun job because you really get more action there.
Right.
Yeah.
The driver and the tillerman typically have assigned duties when you get to a scene, unless things are really going crazy.
Yeah. No. So when you're the tillman, you're kind of at the mercy of the driver.
Oh, and in the winter, yeah. So you said I thought you said summer, yeah. In some ways, yeah, you're at the mercy of the driver, but in some ways he's at your mercy too if you're tilling, because you can help him around the curve.
Yeah.
Or you can make it difficult, or let's just say if you're going to pass a vehicle or pass another vehicle going down the road to a call.
Yeah.
And he's puts a signal light on so he can go around and pass, and you just swerve into the other lane, and block that lane, and then he could come right in behind you.
Dang.
Or
Did y'all have
if
like
you-
helmets on when y'all could talk?
No. not in those days.
Dang.
Yeah, that was before. And it was open cab too. I mean, it's open to the elements. We didn't have no top to it or anything.
That's
at all.
crazy.
And but that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we couldn't talk, but we had just a little buzzer on the floor where you would, if you wanted to stop, you just hit the buzzer once. If it was like an emergency, you just hit the buzzer once.
Yeah.
Go forward. If the driver decided he was going to go, you were sitting still and the driver was going to go forward, he'd hit his buzzer twice, and then you hit it back twice. Go ahead, and if you're going to back up, you hit it 3 times.
Right.
That's the only communication we had.
No headsets.
No headset. But nowadays, it's in modern stuff today. Everybody wears headset and talk to each other.
Oh, yeah.
What have you.
They still have the tillers though?
Yeah, there's still some tractor drawn. Yeah, backtrack. It just depends on where you are. In some cities, it's necessary.
Yeah.
I think we did it just because it looked like we were a big city, and we weren't. But
That's cool.
it's the look we wanted.
Yeah, you wanted to. I mean, I get
Exactly.
it. I mean, looks are 90% of the battle sometimes.
Yeah,
So-
but I mean, we had a speaker back there where you could hear the radio. Whatever the radio traffic was going on, you knew about that. But
Other than that.
nope. Nope. Just wait till you got there.
And then during that time is when you met Grand Gras?
Yeah. No. I'm better
Wait.
before that.
Yeah, you met her before the.
Before that.
Before you started in the fire department? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
He was a volunteer, but not.
Yep. I was doing some volunteer stuff in downtown Chester, but
Yeah, we could probably do a whole show about just the fire department because you did a lot of work there. I mean, starting off, you and Willie would train. You're a big part of the training for the new firefighters and stuff.
We brought you along, to remember doing something there.
Yeah, we did some kind of event. Like they had like a volunteer. I guess it was like a competition.
Volunteer competition.
Yeah, they had to like do a bunch of like run with a bucket of water and do all that kind of stuff. It was cool, man. Yeah, I was like the mascot, man. They said, "Hey, try this chewing tobacco."
Yeah.
How old were you?
I guess like 12,
10
or
12, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I was a beach nut or something. I was like, red. Was it Red Man? Was it
Red Man.
Yeah, I was remember riding the back of the truck like this. Guys like, you need to spit. I'm like, I'm good, brother. And got home. I was like,
Everything was spinning.
yeah, it had a hell of an effect on you.
Oh, no doubt.
Probably when you're 12, yeah.
Yeah, I was a little guy. I mean, that was fun though. I mean, I never tried it again though. I'm never really big on tobacco, man.
Yeah.
Not a
You
big
know that has
smoker.
an effect on you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't realize that was on the other podcast, by the way.
What was that?
They said that I tried the
The devil's lettuce.
Really?
the devil's lettuce. Yeah, it's on my past because
Really?
one of the guys texted me. He was like, "Now I know why you had to crawl into the house." I'm like, "Somebody tell you that story?" He goes, "No, it's on the podcast, dummy." I was like, "Oh,
Ah, okay.
I don't remember who that was. Who was it with?
I guess Cody."
Okay.
All right, so anyway,
Oh yeah, because she was talking about all the drug.
yeah, the last person we had on, she was a DER drug.
Drug enforcement something
Yeah.
officer. But yeah, she was.
But she's an
we were talking
expert.
about
Different drugs and stuff.
weed and stuff like that. And I do remember that you brought that up.
Yeah. I mean, you grew up in the 60s and 70s. I mean, it's obviously marijuana probably is not prevalent. It certainly wasn't legal, but everybody smoked it. But I mean, the difference is, and we're talking about with her and even now, is like the potency, the amount of THC and
Sure.
and
Oh, yeah.
modern day.
Especially from Michigan.
Yeah. All right. So you're the firefighter, and then you stayed in the guard the whole time, and then
Right.
the chief there retired, and you had
Yep.
the opportunity to apply for
He had
that.
to apply for his job. Yeah, and so that's what I did. I applied for his job there, and it was a good deal for me because it was an active duty position. I went from being pursuing here to being essentially back in the active Air Force. And even though I was assigned there, but instead of being a traditional National Guardsman, you're assigned there on active duty, which is a little bit different creature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That was the chief who retired. That was
Sergeant Reese.
Chief Reese?
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Chief
I
Reese,
almost said that. So Eanes was the one in Chesterfield. He
Chesterfield.
retired because he started, and
Yeah.
then Reese was the one that
Yeah.
when you started, he was the chief. And
Yeah,
you
he was
took
chief there, and I took his job.
job. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then that's when so the Air National Guard in Richmond was right next to
The airport.
To the airport.
It was at the Richmond International Airport. Yeah.
Then you guys got assigned the F-16s.
F-16s. Yeah. When I first started there, I think we had 105s. We had F-84s and 105s, and then we had A-7s. And when I went there to be full time, we still had A-7s, and then we got F-16s.
Right. And that changed y'all's status.
That
though.
changes everything. Yeah.
Oh, really?
So it's hard to. It's
Well,
fair
what
to
you
say.
can do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it changes the unit. And actually, you think if you really knew about these things, the Department of Defense itself, DoD itself, was sort of going through a change there, where. And it has something to do, so it's sort of in line with what you were talking about, the downsizing or getting smaller and doing more with less, so to speak. The reserve components, the different reserve components, whichever you want to say, reservist or National Guard or anybody, DoD-wide sort of became more involved.
Right.
Became more involved in a day-to-day operation. And we didn't have a real mission there to say that we did day to day, but for all different things, we would get a tasking to do it.
And where was this again?
When I was in Richmond, I was
Oh, this
stationed
was
there.
in
Yeah,
Richmond.
the F-16s were stationed there, and they would get the airplanes themselves would get taskings,
Yeah.
go different places, and then almost I don't know about every other section over there, but the section that I ran, the fire department, we would get taskings to support the active component all around the world.
Yeah.
Actually.
Did you ever ride along in a F-16?
Yes, I had a backseat ride. Yeah.
How was that?
So he won like firefighter of the year, and he got to do that ride.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, actually, the firefighter of the year thing I got to ride. That was back when I was still a traditional guardsman.
Oh.
And I took a back seat in a 105.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, which is you have to see a difference in these jets. The 105 was a huge fighter jet, and at that point it was they'd reduced them down to being subsonic.
Right.
They weren't supersonic, but because they reduced because of the age of the airframe, and but still it was a good ride. It was a neat ride. we went to the Dare County Range down in North Carolina and dropped these simulated bombs down on the range, and just you're diving in and coming back up and all that kind of stuff.
So then you got to drive the F-16.
And then I took a ride. Got a ride in A7 because when I went to my full-time job, we had a 2-seater, and I managed to get a ride in that, which it's a subsonic plane. It doesn't go as fast, but it was still cool. Yep, that's a 105, and
It does look bigger, yeah.
yep. And then the F-16, eventually I got, because I was there working. It was a matter of, you put your name on a list, and when they have an opening in the back seat we only had one 2-seater aircraft. So eventually somebody say, "Hey, you want to go ride on Tuesday?" Okay, yeah, I'll take it.
So I mean, that is supersonic or whatever.
Yep. Of course, we're not allowed to. You supposedly not allowed to break the sound barrier in it, and so you would, we'd cruise along. At one time, I think I can remember we took a quick dive down, and we were probably 520 miles an hour. But that's
Feel
just,
the G forces on you?
Oh yeah. Well, that it's not so bad, but when now this thing that exists between say cops and firefighters or whatever, there's a similar thing in the military that exists between enlisted and officers. It's fair to say that.
Oh yeah.
And in my case, because of the job I had there, I had a lot of interaction with the officer cadre, and in particular the pilots.
Mm-hmm.
Because any emergency that occurred there was we would be in charge of it until it got settled, so to speak. And then, but anyhow, so I knew most of the pilots pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So you can believe that when I got my ride, I wanted to make sure that I remembered it, and so. So yeah, back to the G-force thing. When we came in a touchdown in Richmond, and we did maybe two passovers across the airfield. And when he turned out, we did our passover and made a base leg turn. When we made the base leg turns, we went about 5G. And you can really feel it.
Yeah,
you can feel that. Yeah. And you're wearing a G suit. The G suit grabs a hold of you and it keeps the blood in the right places in your body, supposedly.
Yeah.
But you
still feel
you
it.
still know it.
So I mean, man, and the pilots, that's probably not much.
Well, that's not a big deal for him. He's got it.
I guess when you're driving too, it seems different.
It's different. Yeah, sure.
When
That's true.
The
You
unknown,
got control of it.
Yeah, when you're in the unknown part, you're like, you don't know what's going to happen, or you feel that.
Absolutely.
You're not.
I mean,
You're
are they allowed
expecting it as much.
Yeah, they allow the laugh and stuff and
Oh yeah, sure. They
give
can
you
do
hell and
whatever.
stuff. Hang on, buddy. Here we go.
Oh yeah.
Or don't tell you nothing.
We're going
Or
left.
don't say anything and just
Take
do
you
it.
right.
Damn, that would be cool, man.
Oh yeah.
That would be. I'd like to do that. Not in an F-16, but in a small plane like that. That'd be fun.
So now I guess because you retired from there as chief, and then they eventually moved everything down to
Langley.
Langley. So
Yeah.
disband the unit.
Yeah.
Well, not disbanded,
Where
but
was it in Richmond?
right
At
next
the
to
airport.
It was okay.
Yeah,
In
at the
Sandston,
airport.
right there.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
attached to the airfield there. Yeah.
So you guys would take off from there.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy, honestly.
So yeah, I remember the one story. I was maybe middle school or high school, but I spent the night at a friend's house. But the next day we were supposed to go for that 5K run you guys had started, because you started
Right,
running
right.
then. And I can't remember what year, but anyway, I'd met this new girl, and I was hanging out with this guy. I didn't feel too good, and Dad still showed up. He had to pick me up in Prince George. That's where I was. He's like, "Hey man, we're still coming to get you." So I'm I shouldn't have been drinking as a kid, but I mean, hell, I think most kids do. But anyway, so I had this pretty good little hangover. We get to pull up to the base, and Dad's like, "Here, drink this and make you feel better." Like a natural light.
I don't remember this really.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So we started to go for the freaking run, man. And I'm literally made it through the run.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm at the, where you run into the base or whatever, and freaking start dry. And there's a crowd of people, and the guy's like, "You all right, buddy? You all right?" Like the crowd's got like, they're clapping and stuff, and I'm like, and they're like, "Oh," it changed from people cheering to like, "Oh man." That shit was rough.
Little did they know.
Yeah, I was like, bro, that was pretty rough.
Oh damn, he
That's
ran
good
pretty
boy.
hard.
Damn. They don't say nothing, man. He's good. He's good. Dad act like he didn't know me. He's like,
No, come on.
go sit in the truck, man.
I was gonna say, oh man, he gave it his all. You were just hungover.
Oh, that's true too. I didn't think about it the other way. Yeah. They didn't know the truth, man.
Nah,
That's right.
didn't know you chugged a natty ice before.
The natty light.
A natty light.
Before the run, man. I like the test dummy, man. Sometimes.
Yeah,
Growing up.
maybe.
Maybe.
That could be.
So,
I mean,
so that's a great. So even way before this, the house that I live in now is where you grew up in.
Yeah.
And that's where. How long were you in that house for? You and Grand Grove.
We were there from probably 77 or to
97.
97 or
Yeah,
something.
20 years. Yeah, because we
Oh,
moved
yeah,
in when
yeah.
Megan was born. Yeah.
Dang, so
We
20
moved in there
years.
2 weeks after Megan was born.
So 20 years, and then we lived there for
I guess
at least 12 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we moved in over here.
Yep. It's on the hill.
On
And-
the hill.
And then then you guys moved to the restaurant?
Well, we
Or where'd you
actually
go for
had
that?
we had the restaurant just for the summer, and,
Okay.
we stayed in it in
And that
the
was
summer.
down in Claremont.
And down at yeah,
Sunken
sure.
Meadow.
Yeah,
Sunken
well, not
Meadow.
Sunken Meadow, at Claremont Beach.
Claremont
What was it? It was an
Yeah.
old like campground, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and it was a campground. It actually was a campground, and they had this. At one time, there was a restaurant there and a dance hall.
Mm.
A dance hall and a restaurant thing, and they closed the dance hall restaurant thing down, and so we just rented it. We just rented it and lived there for a summer, and trying it out, see if we liked it down there.
Yeah.
And it was really, you remember it, of course. It was,
Oh, yeah.
it was a big place, a full-size restaurant. And I mean, you could sleep who knows how many people in there if you
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
to. But still had the booths in it,
Yeah.
and the bar and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
It was kind of neat.
it was pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
It was a neat
Yeah, so
thing to do.
that was like it's down in Spring Grove, but it's called Claremont Beach.
Claremont Beach,
Yeah, Sunken Meadow's a little further
Downriver.
Downriver.
another mile downriver. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, so basically, you know, kind of skipping like you guys, you started flying hang gliders.
Oh yeah, sure. Missed a
Tommy
lot of
Crump.
that.
Oh, is that kind of got you into the?
The
Yeah,
idea
ever
of being
seen-
on the river and stuff.
That's where what made us. That really sort of what brought us to the river. It's fair to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, because you met, I guess you knew Tommy Crump, but essentially he was flying hang gliders, and they would tow a hang glider, a hang glider mounted on a boat with a winch, get up to a certain speed, and then it would release, and you know you'd have a couple thousand feet of rope,
Right.
go up and cut off, and then fly back down.
Yeah, that's how eventually we did it. In the early days of the sport, it was a lot more exciting than that. The
Yeah, he stood on the beach. I forgot
yeah,
about that.
we
it's
had
a
about and of course the sport came a long way with technology. It's fair to say that. And towing hang gliders is different than foot launching off of a mountain. And I've done both, but it's different than foot launching off a mountain, in that you know you get towed up just like a kite is in your hand, and there's a lot of adverse things that can go wrong.
Yeah.
Because the force on the ground is pulling you, and
You're kinda
this and that,
stuck.
as you can imagine. But like I say, in the early days, we would use ski rope, probably somewhere around 3/8 inch, 5/16 to 3/8 inch ski rope, which is really, really heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy stuff. And this is all we had, though. This is all we knew and all we had. And we would have maybe 1,000 feet of ski rope. And it was all in a basket, and the basket was...
I forgot all
The
about that.
basket's on the beach. You're standing on the beach holding the hang glider, and you're in a harness, and then there's a bridle that goes up to the glider. We'll just keep it simple like that.
Yeah.
And the bridle's hooked to the ski rope, and the boat. When everybody thinks you're ready, and you're ready to go, the boat takes off, and you're watching the boat go away, and the boat's going away, and you're thinking to yourself, you're judging these things and saying, he's not going fast enough, or he's going too fast. He's gonna just pull me off the beach too easy or too hard or something like that. But as the boat's going away, the rope is coming out of that basket. It's going tick 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 tick
You're
tick
watching
tick
it.
tick. You're watching it, and you know it's coming to the end. When it comes tight, it would just snatch you off the beach.
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
And we call it a pop start. And it's in the first 5 seconds of the ride were exhilarating. I mean,
I can
to say
bet.
the least. and
Yeah, I can
and that's
picture
right.
it,
That's where everything could go wrong.
And you're trying to balance yourself.
Yeah, you got to be straight. You got to have the wings level. The wings got to be level when the rope comes tight. Because if the wings are not level, then you're going sideways, whichever way it is.
Yeah.
When the wings are straight and level, then you're going straight up.
Yeah, I think literally you'd have somebody on each wing helping hold it.
Sometimes
level.
it would,
Because depending on how hard the wind
how
was
hard the wind was
blowing.
blowing. Yeah, if you were-
How fast was the boat going, you think?
It would depend. Well, it would take about.
Well, I guess you'd have wind.
Yeah, the glider would fly at about, those gliders in that day they would fly at a slower speed. They would probably fly at about 18 miles an hour, and to stay airborne.
Yeah.
So it would take a little bit more than that to get it airborne. It'd probably take about 20 miles an hour to get it airborne, and you launched into the wind. So if the wind was blowing 2 or 3 miles an hour in, well then so you get the drift.
Yeah.
But it wasn't very scientific. It's just fair to say that.
Yeah.
And stand on the beach. You're at the mercy of the guy driving the boat.
Yeah. I was gonna say you don't have much control of that.
Yeah. But you didn't want to be drugged. You didn't want to get drugged through the water either. So you're better off
A little bit too fast.
get hit hard, and just get off the beach.
Yeah.
Damn, I just remember. That brought back a lot of memories. I'd forgotten all about those.
That happened ever? Going too slow?
Oh yeah, plenty of times.
Yeah, I mean, it's too slow, too fast. I mean, there's a
You're
lot.
just getting bounced on the
You're just
water.
getting bounced on the water.
God.
and the glider has floats like the
Yeah,
old school fiberglass floats. You would wait. You can still buy them. And they're not boogie boards, but they look like that. But
Like
they're cheap.
some like boogie
Yeah.
boards. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
to
And
keep it from sinking.
eventually we got to where it became more scientific, and
with the winch.
we had a much smaller rope. I mean, we got down to millimeter size stuff, under say 3/16 of an inch diameter
Yeah.
rope.
Man.
And we'd put 4,000 feet of rope on the winch, and you just put the glider up on the boat,
Yep.
just get proned out, take off, and then just release it, and you come off easily
Yeah.
most of the time.
So on the boat in the early days, did y'all have because the rope gives some, but was there any kind of like a spring or anything to absorb?
Nope.
That was yeah.
But there's plenty of stretch in the rope.
Yeah.
Plenty of stretch in that much rope.
Wow, I'd forgotten all about that. But yeah, that was a wild.
And sometimes, that's a good question. Sometimes there's enough stretch in the rope where you had to really hold back. You had to hold back. And what really would get you, in this case, this is a bit, you'd have to see this to understand it. If the tide was moving, along a little bit, the rope's going out and the tide is moving. Now the rope that's out there in front of you and not out of there's still some in the basket, rope in front of you, it's drifting a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So you think when that rope comes tight, initially it's gonna pull you that way.
Yep.
Your first step, you're going in that direction until the rope swings back, and gets straight up behind you. So now the wings are cocked. I mean, it goes on.
I didn't think about that.
Always lots of fun. In fact, we used to say, if you didn't draw blood, you weren't having fun.
Yeah, that was pretty an adventurous time for the guys. I mean, it was stressful for people on the shore. I mean, it was definitely a daredevil type shit. I mean, there's a lot of stories. I mean, we'll just leave some of that out, but I mean, there's a lot of triumph and tragedy in the in the development of these of what they eventually came up with. But anyway.
And y'all did shows and
Yeah, we did. We did some, not a lot, but we would do things.
There were some heroes in the show, and there were some zeros in the show.
That's probably good.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, I forgot all about it. I need to write some of this shit down. It was pretty good. We could spend a whole show talking about this.
Yeah, we
because you guys had the catamarans and stuff too.
Yeah, but I miss me being an observer of the
hang
show,
glider.
man. The big show, man.
We did. I flew in Bay Days in Norfolk, down there, which is that's
a
really,
pretty big deal.
It's a big deal. There's a lot of people. And
Thousands
it
of
was,
people.
It was really a terrible place to fly because you had to land in deep water, and you just landed as close as you could to this floating thing they had out there. You tried to land really close to it, and there was guys in the ski club would come over and get you, but I mean they had to get to you fast.
Yeah, because hang glide would go backwards,
You
would
flip over,
upside down.
and all that, and it just became a mess. And,
Yeah, it was a lot of danger. Drowning,
Yep.
falling out of the sky,
it can
crashing.
happen. Yeah, and then you fly in there. We at the Bay Days thing in particular. Let's say we flew around high rise. We had high rise stuff. We towed high enough to where you could fly around over the high rise buildings and come back and land in the front.
In Norfolk.
In Norfolk, yeah.
Yeah, damn, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty
It was
awesome.
fun. It was interesting. And we flew. We used to fly every year down on the river at the James River Corporation and some other places. Whoever it was, they had this thing at Westover Plantation.
Westover, yeah, I couldn't think of it.
And we put a little hang gliding show on there for them.
Yeah, the shame of it is, I mean, there's a lot of pictures, but pictures weren't like they are now, where you have all the videos and the what's the thing we had, the underwater
And
GoPro and all these things.
Yeah, no, that'd have been awesome.
So those are things that would be something that you just don't have that kind of access back then of information or that technology. But there's a YouTube video of you doing some flying, right?
Yeah, there is. Yeah. So the guy shot it from microcrump, and this other guy shot it from
Yeah, but it's on YouTube, right? What's it
It's on
called?
YouTube. Skip's Landing.
Skip's Landing.
Landing,
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
It's right in front of Tommy's place.
Yeah,
That's a cool video too.
yeah. Anyway, it's just
It's
out
just
there.
a little quick, setting up for landing.
We'll put it on. We'll put it on the podcast so people can check it out.
Yeah.
Man. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to probably go back to. I'm thinking. I know somebody that listens to all these podcasts is mom. Mm-hmm. So we might want to go back to. She might want to hear about how y'all met or something like that. I mean, just most people that come on here are married to kind of like build their wives up and stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Not
I'm just
get
like
in trouble at home.
Yeah, you just be like, hey, nice podcast, but y'all didn't say
What about the
Jack.
rest of your family?
You didn't say Jack about in this case, I mean,
Right.
it has to be your wife. So
Right.
So I know we lived in Chestertown.
Chestertown Apartments. Yeah. And
man.
you guys lived in.
When
Yeah,
it
go
was
ahead.
just you and her.
Yeah, we moved out, and then we lived there, and parents got divorced, and we were living in Chestertown houses. And I feel like y'all met like you're trying to help mom with her Volkswagen Rabbit or Bug or something.
Yes, well, maybe, but like I say, you guys lived in one corner, and then we lived 90 degrees to that. Let's say I had a roommate, Jim Albert, and I lived there, and in that little spot where we lived, there was probably 6 or 7 single guys, and we was just partying all the time, as you can well imagine.
And you were working the hardware. You were
Yeah,
a fire.
I was working at a hardware store at the time.
Yeah, so
And your mother would walk out to the trash, to the dumpster, right?
Yeah.
And I would see her walking to the dumpster, and sit out there. I was sitting out on the porch, and holler at her and this and that. And so we eventually, you got up the nerve to go talk to her.
yeah.
Yeah, sure. So that's what it was. And we went, eventually asked her out.
Yeah.
And probably, I guess, I don't know, 18 months later, we got married.
There you go.
Y'all been married how long? Put you on the spot, Dave. I've been married
46 years.
46 years. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
50
amazing.
years. That is pretty
Yeah,
wild.
and then we don't want to go into a bunch of stuff. I mean, essentially, you married a lady, who had 3 kids from a previous marriage, which is back then. First of all, divorce was unheard of back then. Really, I remember being the only kid in class that parent was divorced. Seemed
that
like
right?
at CC Wells, and then of course now it's the marriage rates are
That's
dismal.
totally different.
But so it was it was not the norm. Like so it seems like now people are like, oh yeah, it's not a big deal, but back then it was kind of a big deal.
It was different.
Yeah, then
Then you jump straight into raising
some
hell yeah.
hellions, man. I mean, we could spend a whole
Totally another thing.
we could spend a whole nother podcast about trying to raise me and shit, and then
Yeah, we won't go there.
hell on earth, man.
Yep.
But yeah, we got to have you on as a regular. We got to get Russ on here too, man.
Oh, Lord. We need a translator for that.
He came by the other night, but he was a little
Yeah, he wanted to do a podcast at
He
10
want to do a
o'clock at night.
podcatch, I heard.
podcatch,
Yeah.
podcatch, and then
Is that what he said?
yeah, that's why I sent you the text message. Send you a
Oh, okay.
podcatch. Yeah, so Russ is Russ. I'm people like, but people kind of know, listen to the show a little bit, but we were neighbors, and when we first moved from Chestertown houses to Happy Hill, and the house that we grew up in, he was a next door neighbor.
Next door neighbor.
With the egg farm.
He grew up on the hill, and his grandparents, they like their whole family lived on the hill,
Absolutely.
the McCabe complex, man.
And there's his uncle lives basically next door to us, across from
Yeah,
Long Meadow, and then there's a McCabe
McCabe Lane.
Lane.
Yeah, so they definitely got the
They left their mark.
yeah.
And actually, across the street from your house, before that was a subdivision, it was a farm, but there was one house there. There was one house out in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
And Russ's aunt lived in that.
Damn.
Okay.
So really, all the family lived here at one time, outside of the home.
All right. I guess. Yeah. I don't know about all of them.
Because Larry. Anyway, they have like 3 brothers and 1 sister, maybe.
I think so.
Yeah. But
No,
anyway,
2 sisters.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
The whole family.
Yeah.
the whole family took over the hill, man. But anyway, yeah. So that's just pretty interesting. So y'all met, and then y'all dated, and you get married, and then 46 years later, man,
Yep. Still here.
still living, still married, still.
Now, you kind of
got
brought
living
this
life.
up, but y'all kind of lived the runner's lifestyle for.
yeah.
That's good to say. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I got really interested in running. Probably in maybe before I got married. But then I started doing some running. and Betty was doing. Whatever it's called, this stuff that girls used to do,
Aerobics.
Aerobics. Yeah,
She used to get mad when I'd call her yoga aerobics.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
She used to do aerobics.
Yeah, it was,
And eventually, I
legit.
kind of talked her into this trying this running thing, and she was doing step aerobics, as I remember, and all kinds of aerobics. But then she says, okay, yeah. She just went out for a run, and I mean, she was naturally fit for it.
Yeah.
And we both became avid runners. We were doing a running club and
Tri-City Road Runners.
Tri-City Road Runners, and I mean, I've run Boston 4 times.
Boston Marathon, yeah.
Boston Marathon 4 times, and I'm pretty sure she's run it 3.
That's
maybe
pretty
4.
wild.
Yeah,
And you have
yeah.
to qualify for that.
In the old days, you had to. Yeah, and now I think to run Boston now, I think you still do.
Yeah.
You may still have to.
I'm pretty sure because it's so big now. So marathon back then wasn't as big as it is now.
It's kind of it's one of those things that had its day in the beginning, and then it kind of waned some.
Yeah.
And I was in that period of time when it was waning a little bit, I would say, and then maybe now it's picked back up. It's probably a pretty mature sport. There weren't a lot of young marathoners. Most of them, guys were in their 30s or so.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. I know you. So how many marathons you think you've run altogether?
I don't know. At least 25 or 30, I would say, probably.
Oh.
But I mean,
Yeah, I was going to say more than 10. But
yeah, 25 or 30 for sure.
Gee.
I mean, I run Richmond 13 times.
damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran Richmond twice, but that was like a decade ago. So
Yeah.
I mean, and you think about it, and then, I mean, it seems we're sitting here just doing this, but I mean, I'm 55 now, and I was probably 10 when you met me or something. But anyway, I remember, we're leaving so many stories out, but you tore the gas furnace out of the house, oil furnace, so we had a wood stove. But anyway, we had to cut all our wood to burn for that wood stove. And one day we were in the back we cut our own firewood, and I was jumping out of the back of the truck like a teenager or whatever. And you're like, just wait, because I said, damn, Dad, you can't jump out of the truck. You're like, just wait, mofo.
Yeah.
You'll be next. And now I get it. Yeah, I mean, the idea of just why do people stop doing the things that they do is like because your body won't let you do. So you had to quit running because your hips. You had 2 hip replacements. Yeah. So I'm saying is your body will.
Yeah.
You don't think
Eventually
you'll get old and things change, but that shit changes.
Eventually will.
I don't jump out of the back of a truck no more.
Yeah.
I don't either. I'm not even 30. And
I was in the back of the truck yesterday. I was like, nah.
Yeah, I'm not coming out there.
with my job, when one of the guys, he's been doing it for 15, 20 years. The first day I started, he said, buy some good knee pads.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, if anything else, that's the first thing I'll tell you.
Put your money in there. Put some investment into that.
So I was like, I'll be fine. The first week, my knee hit the wrong rock or in a crawl space. It caught something. I was like, yep. So I wear knee pads anytime I'm on my.
Yeah, it'll rock your
around.
world, man. That's when this is kind of off the subject, but people talk about how do you defend yourself. If you can take out somebody's knee, ankle, arm, elbow, wrist. I mean that's real pain, man. If you're crawling and you hit your knee on a small rock,
Oh, it hurts.
that shit'll light you up, man.
Yeah.
So,
Like the stone bruise.
yeah, like a stone bruise. Yeah, some wild stuff. Anyway,
So we talked about you growing up, and then my own memories are from the river. So
Oh, yeah.
growing up on the jet ski and going for the morning walks, which y'all still do.
We do, yeah. And
4 miles a day?
we still walk 4 miles a day. And of course, Betty still does yoga and all the time. And I mean, I'll ride my elliptical trainer usually 30 minutes a day, and then probably 4 or 5 days a week I'll walk 18 holes of golf. But
That's about 3 miles?
5 miles. So it
5
just
miles.
depends on what you're doing. Yeah, at least 5.
Yeah.
So you try to put the mileage in. Nothing like training for a marathon, though.
yeah.
Back in those days, when we would usually run. Betty and I would usually run 2 marathons a year. So doing 2 a year, you're training most of the time. Which which means you're probably putting in between 40 and 50 miles a week. And Betty would run every day at work. She had on her lunch break. She'd go run. She'd go run 7. And, and I had the opportunity where I worked to run. And we did a lot of that. Like I say, a whole lot of that. And we even made it social. Well, on some weekends, the running club would meet on Saturdays or Sundays in Petersburg Battlefield Park and, running there.
What was it? The club, the Roadrunners?
Tri-City Roadrunners. Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing y'all. Y'all used to have shirts and stuff.
Yeah,
Yep.
they're still
They're pretty active, I think
still
still.
going. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and y'all met. I mean, all these things you meet different people. That's what I was thinking about. All the personalities from the hang gliding community. Then you had the running club personalities.
Running clubs,
and, yeah. I mean,
Good
it's all good people, man.
Yeah.
Good people. Oh, yeah.
All positive stuff, but certainly it's just like any other group of people. It's you. I mean, I'm thinking about the hang gliding people. I'm not gonna mention names, but there were some
Some unusual characters,
unusual characters, man. I don't want to say like goofballs, but yeah. I mean, there's one story I'd like to tell, but I ain't gonna tell it. So just about the different personalities, man.
Yeah.
It was cool, man. But I mean, it's just a just life, in a microcosm.
Mm-hmm.
Different personalities,
Sure.
different people.
Because
How
now
do
you have
fit
the
within the hierarchy and all that shit.
Yeah, because now you have the golf.
Yeah.
community,
So we should,
But it's fair to say that this hang gliding thing it really got us tuned into the river where we are now down in Claremont.
That's what I wanted to go back to. So basically, y'all rented some spaces down in Claremont, and then you were luckily able to find a spot down
Right.
there.
What we did was, we used to hang glide all the time right across the river in Charles City in Sandy Point, and so I had the opportunity to fly over and always look down in Claremont.
Yeah.
And so one day Betty and I just went over there and drove around and looked, and we found 4 places that it appeared that we thought we might like.
Yeah.
And so we just went to the county and got their address, the people that owned it, and sent them a letter and said, "Look, we're interested. If at some point in time you decide you want to sell, here's a self-addressed stamped envelope. Answer back to us."
Yeah.
So we're in a position where we could probably make you an offer.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't any time really. It was probably about 6 months. Damn. And these people lived in Maryland, and I guess they'd had enough or something.
Yeah.
And so they said, "This is what we want for it. We won't take a penny less." And we said, "Okay."
They're like, "Damn, no negotiation."
Nope, that's it.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm saying
heck
is
yeah.
because if you saw the place, if you could picture,
Oh, yeah, it was just a cabin.
yeah, it's. I mean, but what I'm saying, if you could just see what it is now, and even then, I mean, there aren't many places like this that exist.
Oh, there's almost nothing that exists on the James River like this, like Claremont.
Anywhere.
Because your whole
Well,
front
you know
yard
that.
is a sandy
beach.
beach. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's nowhere, and that I know. I've been up and down the James River a lot. I've never seen anything like it. Now there are some places that people own that they turn into that, but natural spot like this, it doesn't exist.
It's pretty unusual.
Because even across the river from you guys, it's not like that.
It's not really like that.
Now you got bulkheads, and
Yeah,
people have
it's
different
totally
access to the river. This is just totally unique.
This
I
is
think
just
it's like an
like a
old
beach.
railroad.
Yeah, I think years ago it was there was a railroad, there was a pier there, and back in the Civil War times, let's say.
Yeah.
And that pier was there, and the railroad came down, and they just more or less made what they had to make, and eventually that turned into being a fish camp.
Yeah.
And then now it's Claremont Beach. It sort of looks like Nag's Head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it was just
Now-
hang on, because the Isabel came through and
I was going to say.
pretty much demolished all that, and everybody rebuilt their house.
20 years ago. 20 years ago this month.
Is it
20
really?
years ago, the 18th of September.
Oh, damn.
I didn't realize.
Was
that.
there so there was no kind of, none of the houses were on stilts before Isabel?
No, none of them.
They're all like
All just
Cabins.
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 And that's crazy.
Yep.
Now they're all on.
Now everything went. We built practically everything is built up now. Just one of those things. It's hard. It's a hard lesson, but it's probably the best thing that could happen.
Yeah.
Expensive hard lesson, but
Yeah, that was. I mean, that was a mess.
but it opened the way. Opened up a lot for us, a lot of opportunity, and for the kids. For you guys to come.
Yeah, you guys grew up down there, and then the idea is that every kid in this family gets to grow up and hang out down there or something. That's what we're hoping.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you guys, I guess it could be on a podcast. It's something you want to keep in your family because most of the families down there, I don't know about probably more recently, but most of the people down there at some point had a connection to their families.
That's right.
Passing it down.
That's really fair to say. The only way you ever got anything there was handed down from one to the other. And
Because-
so that's how we were really lucky. We felt like we were so lucky.
Yeah, because you're like most of your neighbors, at least
Yep.
and if you look at the river to the right, most of those people
No, it's all family.
all got it from family. Yeah,
It's all
Yep.
family.
yeah, and that's such a big thing. But anyway, it is nice. But yeah, our kids grew up down there, and then anyway, hopefully You guys be a great
Oh, and those-
grandparent soon. Yeah.
Oh yeah, those
Oh,
are
The
yeah.
next group of kids kicking it down there.
yeah, those are real times. I mean, for you guys, for for the grandkids that come down there, and
I know. That was.
I know you remember that stuff. When, from,
Oh yeah.
in past
Those are all my core memories of growing up.
Yeah.
With the cousins and fishing. And
yeah, the cool part though is like the y'all's neighbor Dickie and Cheryl. I mean, their kids. We watch them
yeah.
grow up now. They're adults and they've got kids.
They have children, sure.
And watching them play and it's crazy, man.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. It's cool to see all that.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. It's a small world down there too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's close knit.
Well, and the other unusual part about down there for you guys is y'all live down there full time. So
Oh yeah.
a lot of people just maybe more.
They're weekend people, of course.
Yeah, but I guess more people live down there now.
Yeah, well, I think it's an age thing, probably.
Yeah, but when you can retire and go down there. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's probably one of the nicest places to be. I would think. I mean, I know it's a lot of driving, but once you get down there and live down there, it's got to be peaceful.
Oh yeah, it's peaceful.
Yeah. I think we would take it for granted so much because when I'd bring friends and stuff down there,
They're blown away.
something they've never seen before.
Yeah, if you haven't been down there and you see it for the first time,
Oh yeah.
you're just like, what the? Yeah, I
'Cause
live on the river and they picture like you live in a swamp and you get down there, it looks like the beach, like the ocean or something.
Yeah. Yeah, because when I met Frankie, she had never been on a boat, never
yeah.
been on a jet ski, never been fishing,
All right.
been on the water like that. Now she's a pro at it.
Oh yeah.
That's nice out there, man.
Now, that kind of leads into in the small town of Claremont, you wrote a song about
Claremont's a small. Yeah, it's just a little bitty town, and I'm glad. Yeah, I guess this is getting us in that direction. The in typical small town stuff, right? I just probably had this idea as I don't know, 20 years ago. I thought maybe I could write country music songs or something.
Yeah.
It's just for some reason I thought maybe I could. Whether I could or I couldn't, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Maybe I thought about that.
So you've been thinking about that for that long?
Oh, longer than that probably.
Oh, I thought this was like,
Because
I thought
I
maybe
don't know,
you had-
you sit there, you listen to a country music song, and you say, God, there's not many words in here, and it's really always a similar theme or something like that. I could probably do this.
Mm-hmm.
And but I never really gave it much thought. And then one day, I mean, in particular, we're talking about Claremont. One day, Betty and I were just walking along, and walking our normal 4-mile walk in the morning, and we heard this rooster, and she just looks at me, she says, there are 5 roosters in this town.
that's pretty good.
And I said, wow, gosh, how about that? 5 roosters. So it kind of plants in the back of your brain. And I said, at some point, I said to her, yeah, that would be a really neat song. And I hadn't written anything at that point, nothing
Yeah.
at all. I said, that would be kind of a neat song, 5 Rooster Town. So I started thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I just started planting in the back of my mind, 5 Rooster Town. And I said, well, maybe I could put some stuff down. And so I just started writing different things about the town. And it eventually led into what I guess essentially you would say is a poem.
Mm-hmm.
A poem about Claremont. We call it the 5 Rooster Town.
Yep.
And there's a whole lot of it's fair to say there's a lot of metaphors in there, and
Oh, yeah.
and all that. And eventually we're gonna get that published on YouTube.
Yep.
But so the 5 roosters end up being 5 single guys in town.
Mm-hmm.
And you begin to get the picture. So I try to bring out the whole politics of the town and have a sort of Animal Farm like.
Yeah.
If you're familiar with Orwell's book in Animal Farm, it's sort of that way. How you compare barnyard life to something else.
Real life.
To real life.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a story. You're telling a story with it.
Mm-hmm.
And my ideas with the initially, I tell people when I start talking to people about writing stuff like this, I'm in the process of 11 songs. We looked at it this morning,
Yep.
and I probably have 8 of them, more or less complete.
Yep.
But three I'm still working on.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get the lyrics down. But I'll tell people, look, I have trouble playing the radio. So I'm not musical at all. So I depend on you 2 guys here to pick up the slack. And so what I did is I turned the poem over to Eric,
Yeah.
And he looks at it and did the musical part.
Yep.
And we talked Big Eric into singing it.
Singing it. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, that's the part that I mean, well, first I guess you could learn to play the guitar.
Not me.
That's what I'm saying. I was I was never too late to do something new. They say.
Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah, but anyway, so you sit there and like so we got the song and and it seems like it would just be like well, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, I kind of want to walk through it, but so you write so imagine you're in a band like the Eagles or something, so they're all musically inclined.
Sure.
Doesn't mean they can write a song. So some people can write songs, some people can't, some people can play instruments, other people can't.
Right.
It's like a group collaboration.
Sure.
So essentially, but for the song, Eric had he wrote the guitar part for it, and then
And harmonica.
and harmonica, and video, and then not video, but recorded it, and then that's not easy either. Because
We did that in the house.
did that on the hill, recorded on the hill. But what I'm saying is, it's a lot. Even like this podcast, that sit here and talking to these microphones, and when you listen to it, make it sound halfway decent. I mean, it helps having the right equipment. I mean, these microphones are pretty nice, but what I'm getting around to is not easy just to record a song, record somebody singing it, and then have it sound like it's not some.
Oh, heck yeah.
That wasn't recorded on a cassette tape or something, Because I know people that put some stuff out, on YouTube or some friends of mine or whatever it may be, and you can hear them.
Well, let me stop you right here about that. Let me stop you on that. Yeah, with respect to doing that here and all, that's one of the things I was going to bring up today, and I've forgotten, but I didn't have a chance. What you're doing here right now is just really an extension of both y'all's childhoods.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean that to your point. You and all your buddies used to take the VHS.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Thing we had and make all kinds of goofy
I forgot about
tapes.
that, yeah.
And then when Eric came along, the grandkids, they all did stuff. So I just see what y'all are doing right now as the natural extension of your childhood.
Yeah, I mean that's
It
true.
really is.
Yeah, when we
Because
were,
we would make movies with the cousins and
Yeah, sure.
and we did. Yeah, I did the same thing with Mike and Chris, and Mike Matthews and Chris Perry.
Right.
We made like 3 videos, but we didn't have the edit and stuff, so we
That's
almost had
right.
to be like
yeah.
You had to pause it and like this has got to work.
Yeah.
We didn't have
one
that
tape.
Yeah, it's a one tape deal, man, and we just I guess we didn't think about cutting the tapes up and splicing them together. But anyway, yeah, that is true.
Okay, go ahead.
No, it's cool though. I mean, it's a good way to think about it. I mean, it takes. Say what you want, but it takes creative people to come up with ideas and how to do things. If you don't have that, then you're not gonna be able to do.
And your means are a lot better now than they used to be.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
means are a lot better. Yeah,
I mean, that equipment I have sitting over there
Sure, yeah, exactly.
wasn't around.
yeah. The idea of
10
what
years
you
ago.
got there to do what we're doing now, with computers and stuff and the technology, would have been impossible in my day to do
Yeah.
what we're doing now and have this kind of quality sound and stuff. But yeah,
yeah.
that's true. But I mean, I think it's cool that I didn't know you had thought about it so long, but I know that I remember as a kid, like you would we used to we laughed about this shit, but you laugh at it, but I do the same shit. You write down an idea or record an idea before you forget it or something.
Right, sure.
And this is all, and that's what that is too. Plus, hopefully, when you get older, you get a little bit wiser, and you can kind of look at things differently. And then you're living in this town, you're looking around, and somebody throws something out. Somebody could, let's say it was like somebody else, right? Not you and mom, and somebody, hey, this is a 5 rooster town. That's pretty witty even to begin with.
Yeah, sure.
That she came up with that, and then you're like, hey, wait a minute, that's a fucking country song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and we're gonna put it out there. We're trying to make the video for it now, but
And
get the-
that was fun too. Yeah, we're doing the
Yeah.
video. The video
We got the
to go
video
on.
going.
so we did some live shots and videos, and we're trying to put it to a music video to put it out there. So
Yeah, I'll play a little, just the beginning of it. This is just the guitar part here.
a peaceful little place to see a better day.
Okay, that's all y'all get.
You have to wait for the release. Should be coming soon though. I think I can get it.
But that's all recorded right on the hill.
Yeah, man.
And lyrics by the Boom.
The Boom, man. Songwriter.
Yeah, well, and like I said,
I was gonna say singer songwriter, but
no,
yeah.
not singer. No, I'm afraid not. But the sort of just try to collect ideas Try to collect ideas in your head, write them down, and then essentially, for me, I'm just starting to writing a poem, and the poem ends up, I would watch since I've only been doing this for just over a year, and or maybe about a year or so, but you watch country music songs or even some rock songs or whatever, and watch the words go by and count syllables. That's what I would do, things like this. Watch the words go by, count syllables, look at the line, see what they do. And musically, it doesn't mean anything to me, but I can see how it might fit. So I try to write the poem in things like well, I would say a line would have 9 to 14 syllables, and then the next line would have 6 to 9 syllables, and then the next one would have 9 to 14 syllables. Some of them would begin to match.
Yep.
And they begin to match itself up so that hopefully the musician can pick that up,
just plug it
and
in.
make it plug in mathematically or musically, so it will work. And then all I'm doing is trying to rhyme lines, rhyme the last word of every song together, or every other line together, or every line together. It doesn't matter. It just depends on what you're doing.
Yeah, I would say when I wrote the music for that song, it was because I've always been more musically inclined than on the vocal part,
The lyrical part.
So I would always write the music would come first, and I'd have to try to put lyrics over top of the music.
Right.
But when I'm with this Five Rooster Town, I already had the lyrics there.
Yep. Right.
So I just had to figure out what sound.
How's it going to fit?
And once I figured out the riff, the guitar riff and the harmonica, it was just at that point it was just plug in and
Yep. Sure.
And that was the easy part, was just dropping the lyrics straight down on that, because
I mean, it's a system for sure, I've written some songs and some limited with knowledge on the guitar, but anyway, I mean, I think most songs start off, if you listen to the greats. I was thinking about a show I saw on YouTube or VH1 or something. It's like two real popular people, they're popular now, and one guy said, every song starts all as a country song.
Right. Sure.
With a guitar and the basic lyrics, or a piano and the basic lyrics, and then they just build it from there. So I mean, I thought that was pretty cool.
Go ahead.
Yeah, like the guy from Coldplay, Chris Martin, I think that's his name.
he said that. Yeah.
Yeah, he said basically, I start off with, and it could go either way. Either he has a lyric in his mind, or he has like a musical, something he'd written musically, and he tries to match the lyrics. And I remember a long time ago, what's the guy's name? Used to be the singer for the Temptations, or Lionel Richie.
Yeah.
He was with he wasn't. But go ahead.
The Commodores.
Yeah, but I remember he was. This is a long time ago, but I just remember him saying that in the shower he would sing. He'd jump out and write it down because
that's what it comes to.
Right.
Yeah, or in the middle of the night he'd wake up and
bang,
and he'd write it down so he didn't forget, because he's like, if I don't write this down, I'm gonna forget it.
Well, now if I'm working on a song, I'm going along thinking, while I'm walking, I'm thinking. I used to when I was a runner, I would always have my best thoughts when I was running, and when I'm walking, I'm trying to rhyme something. And as soon as I get back to the house, I write it down.
Yeah.
But who was it that said 3 chords and the truth?
I was about to say that.
That's,
who said that?
That's actually
I don't John Prine. It was George Jones or somebody.
It might be George Jones, but I don't know it through George Jones. I know it through the U2, the band U2.
Oh, really?
And the lead singer, they did a video, and they did an album called Rattle and Hum. Mm-hmm. And in that song, he says, 3 chords and the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was from George Jones.
I think it's George Jones.
Yeah, because we were watching.
It could have been John Prine, but I think it was George Jones. Yeah.
I think it was because we were watching a country special at Frankie's house one day, and they opened it up with country music is 3 chords and the truth.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it really is.
Well, the songs, Five Rooster Town, it covers. And I know you're a little bit worried about, people saying, what rooster am I, or something like that. Right. But, I mean, that's the least of their worries, probably, Yeah. I mean, if they're roosters and they're out here still trying to find a hen, what we think about them is irrelevant, That's what I think about
it. But the song, there's a verse in the song about that, of course. But then there's also meant to be, this is what the town is, and if you've lived there, you know what it's like. And in the end, I tried to stick that Animal Farm thing in there, where there's some people that are think they know everything and try to run around. In fact, when I did the original song, it was probably at least another verse, and you had to cut it back to make it fit the timeline and in the sound.
Yeah, I think the last verse I combined.
Yeah, sure.
The last two that you had written.
And all of them I've done. I try. What I'm doing really most of the time is trying to get at least 4 verses so that the musician has something to work with.
Yeah,
can bring it back together.
Yeah,
every which way. Just let that let it go there.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'll usually do 2 versions of the song, and then an alpha version, a bravo version, then a delta version. The delta version is how I see the combination coming, how I see the combination working together.
That's pretty cool, though. Yeah, so because most people, when I write something, I don't want to rewrite it. So that's probably a mistake. Like if I write a song, I've got some songs too, but and poems and stuff. I'm more of a lyricist person, more like a poem or whatever, or poet or something. But I feel like when I get it right the first time, but see, like Jordan Peterson said, that's not even. You shouldn't do it that way. You should write it, let it sit, and then go back and try to write each sentence again.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's good.
And particularly if you're doing like a paper or something. But I think a lot of times songs or stuff just come through an inspiration, and if you lose that moment or something, it comes to you. That's the other part that I think is crazy is when a song or an idea comes to you. Where is that really coming from? See my point?
Sure.
Like if you're walking, you've had that experience, right?
All the time.
A phrase hits you and you're like, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So now we're talking about your imagination, your courage, your valor, and all that stuff. Nobody knows where that shit comes from. Your imagination. So that's pretty spiritual. So then, it's probably some way. Not that you need therapy, but it's therapeutic to be able to write things down to lay things out on paper. So. Most people don't take the time, and I'm glad you're doing it now. If we'd like to make them all songs, but if nothing else, it gives you something to think about, and it's healthy. The more you write, the better you'll be.
I think the cool thing about music is that once it comes to you, you get excited about what you're writing, and then from there you got to put it to music, and then there's the recording process, and now we just made the video.
Right.
And once that's released, then you still get to share it with people, and
yeah,
it almost never ends. It's like
it never ends, but it's also then you're exposing yourself too, because you even doing this, somebody could comment about us or say some negative shit. Which I don't care about, but I think when you write a song or something, it's a little more personal because this is something that you've thought of and you put work into it, and somebody's playing the music and singing, so you expose yourself to the scrutiny, but.
Well, it is, and I'm glad you brought that up. That part up. The ideas of why you do it or something. Because maybe that'll lead me into something I was going to say about another song. Or
go ahead, yeah.
Maybe you want to jump into that.
Yeah.
Because I told you I think I'd written so far. I've done 11. 11 of them. And that's what I counted here. And I'm not 100%. It could be 12 because they're in various stages of work. But one of probably the second song I worked on after Five Rooster Town is called "Hole in Her Wall," "Hole in Her Wall," and I really did this poem for Eric, for little Eric, and for Tommy.
Yep.
Because it's a song about to help you in your marriage.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kind of hoped, that I would given it to you guys before you got married, and in fact I did. But anyhow, it's sort of the idea that here you are, in your first throes of marriage, and something happens, and what did I do wrong type thing.
Yep.
And it sort of follows along that the Jimmy Buffett song with Margaritaville, where it starts out, it's nobody's fault, and by the time you get to the end. You figure out, oh, yeah, there we go. I've done a little self-reflection. Yeah. And
it's all my fault.
It could be my fault.
Yeah, that's...
So, anyhow, that's what that song is about.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to... it's... I don't know about for Eric, but two things. One, I think that it's... Like I said, it's healthy to write, to be writing. I think we all should write more. But anyway, so... I guess the hardest part for maybe Eric is you've got your reason for writing the song, and then he's trying to capture that reason or that feeling,
Right.
but it's not. He didn't write the lyrics to the song. So it might be more beneficial in the future. This is popped in my brain. It's like have like a session where you can't sit down together.
Right.
And just play a couple chords and see how that matches.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because usually most people write, like say for instance, Coldplay, the band Coldplay, they say that they when they write a song, if the whole band doesn't agree on it, they trash it. And I just got whoever wrote the musical part or whatever, they're basically a 3-piece band. But if they all don't agree on it, and one guy could really love it, they're like, nope, we're not doing it. So I guess what I'm saying is for y'all to work more collaboratively, it might take sitting down together.
Make it help.
Hey, because a certain chord elicits a certain emotion, versus another chord. I'm just throwing it out there.
Right.
But I mean, it's not as easy just to put it all together.
Sure.
It takes some time. So
Yeah.
Lots of
But I'm glad now I do have more free time.
Do you? Okay.
yeah, because
Yeah.
changing jobs, but I do have more free time.
Yeah, but my other job was music all day, so it was harder for me.
Yeah,
to
you didn't want to. Yeah,
have
you
a
want to get away
release.
from it.
Yep.
No, for sure.
That's
And
true. I
then-
didn't think about that. Yeah, that's good.
And then now I've been in transition where it's been learning this other thing. But now, like yesterday, I was on the road for almost 2.5, 3 hours. So
Sure.
there's plenty of time to
Think.
sit there and think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a big part.
And because I know you've done it too, like listening to different songs. But I looked up different, just on YouTube, like country instrumentals, and you
Right.
can and people make stuff in the theme of whatever.
Right.
In-
Whatever
in the
feeling.
You could say instrumentals in the theme of Jimmy Buffett or in the theme
Right.
of
Yeah. Sure.
Garth Brooks or whatever artists, and then I started getting some feels
ideas.
and ideas. Yeah,
That's good. Yeah,
and it's
that's
not copying music. You're just
Well, I mean,
trying to like put stuff together
Yeah.
like where it feels the best.
Well, kind of to go along with that, even one of these I've written in my mind, I have an idea about
Yeah.
what genre it should be.
Well, you sent me that
we should-
Billy String song.
Yeah,
the
Billy
other
String
day.
song. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, I think this might fit.
Yep.
You know.
Well, that's gonna be helpful too. Yeah, I didn't know y'all doing that, but
Yeah.
I think you'll have more time now.
I know. Yeah,
And plus, your marriage. I mean, back to the what's the song? Hole in the wall.
Hole in the wall.
Yeah, I mean, if you're smart and you want to stay married, this is my advice. Yeah, if you're a guy, just shut the hell up. I mean, you've been married 46 years. I mean, you can win an argument, but you ain't winning the battle. The battle's a long ride.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Bite the bullet.
Yeah, I mean the war, not the battle. Yeah, you might win a battle, you're not gonna win the war. I mean, I can be right sometimes with Shelley, but I prefer just to be wrong. You know what I mean?
Usually we are wrong too.
Yeah, usually we are. Not all the time, but when I'm right, I can think maybe twice, maybe I was right.
It's not worth it to be
But
right.
I was like, nope, I don't give a shit. Yeah, I mean, there will be times. This is a little bit off subject, but I mean, if something you really believe in or something that you have to do, like that snake the other night, and your wife may not have liked it or something, so it has a rattlesnake on their porch.
Copperhead.
Copperhead. That's unusual, man.
It is.
Well, you did a
We-
lot of yard work though.
I cleared out our whole fire pit in the backyard, and I haven't seen a copperhead all year.
Yep.
And we were on the porch on Sunday night watching football. We actually had a whole setup. We had the projector out there. It was me.
Oh yeah, sure.
Me, Frankie, Tommy, Megan, and JC. And of course, Megan's pregnant, so
Yeah.
both cats are out there. So we're sitting there, maybe 2 feet from the front door, or this door on the porch. And Tommy was like, "I think there's a." I see him looking. He's like, "I think there's a snake or something over there." And all I saw was a tail at first. I was like, "It could be anything." So when I stood up, it was a
Copperhead like that.
3
Ooh,
feet
yeah.
long.
Yeah.
I mean, he was an adult, but he was just going. For him to get on the porch, he either had to come in from the door, under the door,
Yeah.
or where we were. So he was within feet of us.
Right.
So Tommy, that's what I told Tommy immediately. He grabbed Megan and said, "Nope, you're going inside," and got her inside. And we were trying to get the cats in, and when I went to go get a shovel. Apparently Frankie was like, "Where's Eric going?" Tommy's like, "He's gonna kill it," and Frankie didn't like that.
Oh,
at
you
that
didn't like
moment.
you go kill a snake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she wanted me. She was like, "You could have released it or done something else." But
Well,
at that point,
now we're
when
gonna-
Megan's pregnant and the cats
Right,
are out
sure.
there, I was just
Yeah,
there was no other choice because
You probably just stirred it up from the back, but the good part is neither one of our wives listen to the podcast,
Yeah.
so we can kind of just say what the hell we want. But I mean,
yeah, they see
That-
this as like we listen to y'all talk all
Yeah.
day. So
Sean's like, I don't listen to it because
Yeah, no need for
I only
that.
listen to your dumb ass nonstop. So, what I was going to say was that was the time that you were right,
Yeah.
and your wife might have been wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I was protecting everybody. And
Yeah, but you see my point. Right?
sure. Yeah.
So I was going to show you a picture of it.
But yeah, while you're doing that, I was thinking about, so, that was a couple of years ago, I think. Maybe last year. No, it was the year before. We went up to Floyd, one of the ventures up there. And Jeff, my older brother, he's very, and like Eric, he's very musical. And then Todd, he's an artistic. I mean, it's kind of like, we got some artistic people in the family. And anyway, the point was they were playing that tribute for Neil Young.
Yeah,
And right before he started, and I was going to say this was, Jeff's like, hey, I appreciate my stepdad being here. You were the main inspiration for my musical choices, right? So I'm sitting here thinking now, and I was like, damn, that kind of blew me away. But you are for mine too. So I mean, literally, when we all got together as a family for when once y'all got married, you probably had 60 albums or more.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, sure.
All kinds of variety.
Right.
So I think that you've probably been subliminally or whatever you want to call it, subconsciously. You kind of a lot more about music than you give yourself credit for. Because you listen to all kinds of different genres of different music, rock and roll, country, beach music,
Sure.
Whatever it was. And I mean that's been the mainstay of my musical choices too, to even like influence the way I play drums. I mean, I was kicking on some drums the other day. I got a new electronic drum set. I'm listening to some older music like the Doobie Brothers. I was like, this is where my style came from. I was jamming out for a little Pink Floyd or something like that.
Yep.
But
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, I'm trying to give you the credit. Like, yeah, I mean, you certainly influenced my music. I mean, we had 4 speakers hanging in our living room
That's right. Yeah,
from the goddamn ceiling. I mean,
Bose.
Bose, man, boom.
Yeah.
Big Bose.
Well, I told Mom, I don't think I told you yet, but, well, first of all, every time we get together, we're always listening to music.
Yeah, I mean, our entire
Whether
life
at the
has been
river
music,
or.
yeah.
But then I told Mom last night, Frankie and I went out to eat, and we came back, and basically just had a concert in the living room. We just put on YouTube and just started going through music and just listen to music and
so
jam.
lucky to be able to do that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that. That's all Shelly and I do. If we're ever just chilling, we might watch TV. But if we're actually really just relaxed, like when we go camping, we don't want to watch TV. We just listen to music.
Yeah. Literally, we went on Madison Square Garden. It was a concert, and they had the full concert there. So we just sat there and watched the full concert. And it's recorded like a professional.
Oh yeah.
I think it was for a special anyway, but the way they recorded it was like you're actually there. It was cool. It's pretty awesome.
Technology's nice like that.
There's
there's a snake.
There's that copperhead.
So make sure Frankie don't listen to this.
Oh yeah, that's a copperhead.
Yeah, he called me. I'm like, you good over there? He sent me that picture. I'm like, oh shit.
I was like, y'all watch out, because Grizzly, y'all's cat goes out on the porch too. Which I think I saw a video. The cats are 9 times faster than a snake.
Oh, at least I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
kind
they'd
of
be
jump
all
off the topic, but yeah, it'll show a snake trying to even like when we had Sadie or Bandit.
Yeah.
The snake would like come at him and it just moved like it was effortless.
Oh, yeah.
In that video I saw,
Were the snakes right in the cat's face?
I think for a snake to bite a dog, it has to be a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, even for the cat. So he's all coiled up about to strike, and the cat's just like,
Yep.
And swats him mid-strike.
Just hit the snake.
all right, we're back.
We're back.
Had to have a short break. Even the pros take a break. Freaking Joe Rogan said, "Hey man, we got to take a break."
One of the things about being on the hill,
Yeah.
you can walk out your front door, and like every man in the world,
Yeah.
you can take a leak and nobody can see you.
Nobody can see you.
Yeah, well, I think probably nowadays we got the door in the back deck, but yeah. But
That's how we do it.
Yeah, I
you
can
can
just
ask
go
all
up-
my friends.
That's how we do it on the hill.
We go right off the back deck.
I used to pee out my bedroom window, man. Killed that damn bush out the
Kill
front.
the bush right out in front of the house.
Your music room, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so before the break, we had to hit a bathroom break. So this may end up being our longest podcast, dog.
Right now it is, yeah.
But that's cool. I mean, we literally could talk for hours. I mean, we've been talking so intently that Shelly even left and went to the grocery store and came back. We didn't hear her leave. Man.
Frankie texted me to make sure I was all right.
Damn. So yeah, we're gonna get back to the song, but real quick. So you guys will drink some water, flavored water.
Yes.
So every guest, if you get this commemorative on the hill cup.
Get out of here.
You get to take that home with you.
Take the on the hill cup with me.
Yeah, and Eric's got the hat on. We're gonna
We'll probably get some different styles.
I mean, just want to see how it would look. But
I like
we're gonna get like a fitted hat.
Looks nice.
Yeah, we're gonna get a fitted hat and then go from there. All right.
That
So
reminds me, did you have the hat here handy for Bob Rooster hat?
I do have that hat. Yeah.
Okay.
Mine's in my truck.
That's all right. We get it.
Well, we should have got it during the break. Nah, actually, mine's in my damn truck too. Mine's in the damn camper. I took a camper with me last time.
Yeah. Mine was in the truck from the river. I put it on the other day.
Yeah, mine's in the camper. So anyway, we're talking about these songs and the inspiration behind them. But so you got 8 songs,
Right.
essentially. So what's one that you like?
Well, I tell you what. There's like I say again. Several I've been working on. I mentioned already the hole in her wall, and again that was about the marriage thing.
Mm-hmm.
Close to where we lived, there was this place called Sunken Meadow Beach.
Yep.
And it got washed away in Hurricane Isabel 20 years ago.
Damn.
And so this song is Sunken Meadow Beach, or Redneck Riviera. And so it's kind of, we're all John Prine fans.
Oh yeah, that's
and that really influences me a lot. In the writing, I'm trying to tell a story.
Yeah.
For the most part, what I'm doing this thing is trying to tell a story, and this is the story. The Sunken Meadow Beach story is about where I went as a kid when I was 16 or 17 years old. And would take my girlfriend someplace instead of going to the Virginia beach. We go to Sunken Meadow Beach.
Really, that's how long it's been there.
Oh yeah, it's been there forever.
I didn't know that either.
Oh yeah, heck yeah, and that's and in the song, that comes out in the song, and I've written, I write several versions of the song, and one of them I wrote for a friend of mine, named, and I put him in there. This guy's name is Bruce, and I pretend like it was him and his girlfriend doing it.
Oh, gotcha.
And all that.
Friend of yours.
A friend of mine, yeah. And
I'm
actually,
saying,
I did one for you. I actually did one for you. Where it was.
Scoot us a little closer.
So when I changed it from Bruce to you. What I did was I changed a few of the lines in there. So instead of avoiding the Army draft, you were thinking about doing a blue collar craft or something like that.
Gotcha.
So you can see how the song changed.
That's pretty witty. Yeah.
And so anyhow, there's a version in there for you. Also and
well, I was just wondering, when somebody I'm not trying to interrupt you, but somebody they're talking about themselves, they're like, a friend of mine, has erectile dysfunction.
Right.
Yeah.
So is it really? Well, some of it is about me, of course.
Yeah. I'm just messing.
Some of it is about him.
Of course, I know I'm just dicking.
Yeah. But
I got a friend.
But there's some truth. There's some truth
Oh,
in it,
hell
no
yeah.
matter what.
In every story, there's
And we say I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm asking
Yeah,
for a friend.
that's what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
So you're see, that's why you.
And I'm working on finished what's called Slack Tide Bar, and to me, I kind of see the Slack Tide Bar, the genre being something like Zach Brown or Jimmy Buffett thing, where it's this imaginary bar that you go to that's built in an old fire station, a rescue fire station. And,
Damn, they got one in town.
And do they really?
Y'all do.
Oh yeah.
Well, fire station.
Oh,
yeah.
fire station, yeah.
Make it into a bar.
This is a little different.
I wonder if they'd let y'all open that joker up.
Who knows? But anyhow, that guy there. I have one here, ATF, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, which I see as a bluegrass song. And I mentioned Eric mentioned it earlier that this.
I've started. Well, I think I have a good idea.
Something to go along with it, And it's about exactly as you would imagine. Imagine growing up on a farm, and the three things that would really, a farm boy, what would really be near and dear to him: alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. And the song, moves along in that direction.
It's pretty good.
And we go through this. I've got one here I really enjoyed. It's My Name Isn't Rose or Flo, and it's a barmaid's lament, and it's where this chick is. She understands guys completely.
Yeah.
And this comes a little bit out of experience, where I go on so many trips, and you see.
Oh yeah.
And in fact, I tell in the beginning, in the narrative, in the beginning, I say the girl in here, Rose. Her name's not Rose or Flo. She's completely imaginary. Mm-hmm. But the guy that's in the thing, and he's a guy. He's two guys that I know when I go on golf trips where this is him 100%.
Damn.
And so it gives you, that's your line of thinking, when you, all of a sudden it just comes to you. You say, what do I do? My life is really just, I have this song thinking about billboards and bumper stickers.
Yeah.
And I kind of see this as really taking off into a rap song. And so what I've done is, I go down.
They got country rap now.
Yeah, they country rap. I mean, I have to agree. Unfortunately, a lot of countries turn into something like rap.
They do.
It's pretty sad.
I mean, I'm not against rap, but damn, that's kind of.
Yeah, I mean, come on, you really it's the wrong thing.
Match the genre.
But the idea with the bumper, bumper stickers and billboards is this. You know, it was a thought that I have. You know, it's anyone that'll put a bumper sticker on a car, or if you're cruising down the road and you see this billboard,
right?
It's really your alter ego, right? This is the imaginary you.
Damn.
Yeah.
You kind of get the picture.
Yeah, that's really
so
neat.
in this thing, it'll be all these bumper stickers that whatever the name, whatever it is, it'll somehow fit. But the chorus will be normal. The chorus will come back to the idea that this is really just your alter ego you're dealing with here. You know, it's the imaginary you.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, the barmaid thing I mentioned to you. There's this hollow love tree that this is a duet. See, this is it's a
Hang on,
country.
Hollow Love Tree.
Hollow Love Tree. Yeah, this is a place in Pocahontas Park where maybe I'll just say Betty and I have been before, and you know, and so I kind of.
Oh, okay.
You know, this is where we walk off into the country, you know, and be together for a while. But the song ends up being a country duet where maybe she sings part of it to him, he sings part of it to her.
Okay.
That's the genre I'm feeling with it.
Yeah.
And,
No, I like that. We'll get Frankie in on that one.
yeah, I mean, I would like. Yeah, that would really be cool. You know, to get.
Because Frankie can sing.
She can sing. I mean,
She doesn't.
I need to get into this name. My name isn't Rosa Flo then.
Oh, that for her to do that one?
That's a girl. That's a female singing that.
Oh.
My name isn't Rosa Flo. She's a barmaid. Perfect, actually. You know, it's about a girl
She could
23
do that
years old that comes out of college, doesn't know what to do. And,
Yeah.
you know, and
She
this
can
and that.
sing, man. Yeah.
God, we need to work that one.
Yeah. I didn't realize I was. Yeah.
Oh, we need to work that one hard.
Because she doesn't admit that she can and acts like she can't, but she can and she knows she can. She just.
She's
We
shy.
just gotta get her behind the mic. Yeah.
This is the one that really gets you, Eric. It's voices, visions, and vapors.
That's it.
And I mean, this is you know, if you
A vapor guy.
yeah, if you believe it, believe
vape-
that we're here, you know, in quantum physics in the
Type
world.
shit. Yeah.
And there are things that happen. You know, things that happen to you that just
Yeah.
like you mentioned to me today about the door slamming.
Yep.
You know, when you're down there and how did this happen, or all of a sudden you're walking along and you hear this voice.
Yeah.
Well, how about this? You know, you're by. In fact, one of the lines in there speaks to a friend of mine. He was sitting in his house, and he
Is this
was
make believe?
No, this is real.
Okay.
A friend of mine tells me this story that happened to him, so I try and get it in there. Where he's sitting in the house, and his first wife, who passed away. You know, he's sitting there all by himself now, and of course he's remarried, been remarried a while.
Right.
But all of a sudden, he smells this perfume,
Damn.
and so I said, well, tell me, you know, what whose perfume was it? And he says, well, it was my first wife's. Oh my gosh, how does this happen, right? Well, it's out there.
Yeah, no, I believe
And
that.
if you believe in quantum physics, and you know we're all just energy,
Damn.
Oh yeah.
then maybe this stuff is just passing back and forth.
No, I believe
It's
that.
kind of a heavy song, right?
Yeah, that's pretty heavy, and you know, I hope
little
that his wife was happy with him.
Oh well, you know, he hadn't told his wife about it.
No, I'm talking about his
his first wife.
Well, I hope she.
Oh
was,
yeah, well there you go.
Yeah, I hope she was happy that he's
Maybe
moved
he was
on,
happy and.
That he was happy and stuff.
Right. And
I mean, how did he feel about it? Like he felt bad about it or good about it?
well, and I was telling him about the song, and so he says, "Well, let me tell you what happened to me." Oh, how did he feel? I think he was okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, I hope
And they
he-
actually they just lost a dog.
damn.
They just lost a dog they'd had for 14 years. And he says, you know, the other night I was sitting on the couch and I put my hand down like that, and he said, I could smell the dog.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope it seems like, you know, he has pretty good. He's aware of his stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. That if he smelled his wife, at least he didn't like feel a knife against his throat.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Or he didn't go out the front steps and fall, and then he's laying there like a
He
broken.
then smells his wife.
Then smells his freaking wife.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, but the possibility exists that it's real. That's kind of
Oh,
what
I
the
know.
song's
That's what I'm
about.
saying. This shit's
Yeah,
real,
this-
but at least
this
he's
stuff-
happy.
This stuff could be real. You know, this really could be floating around among us.
Well,
Oh
we've
no,
seen,
no, no! I'm saying, yeah, I agree.
Well,
Well,
like
we've
the
seen
people say, you know, I saw somebody standing over there, and I'm the only one that saw him.
Oh yeah.
Stuff like that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down with it.
Well, we've seen when we had Charger, our dog. He did the same stuff. He did some creepy stuff. Yeah.
Where he
There was one night where multiple times he would sit in one corner of the living room and sit there and look up and wag his tail and act like someone was either petting him or look like talking to him. And then one night, Mom and I were on the couch, and he got real. His ears went back and kind of like on edge.
Right.
We're like, "What's wrong, buddy?" And he stood by the staircase and was looking at the bottom of the stairs, and his head went up like this, like he was following somebody, and it stood there and looked up at somebody.
Right.
And we both saw it, and we're like,
Yep.
"That was weird."
There's something he can see and you can't.
Yeah,
It's got to be possible.
It happened a couple times.
Or think, to the dog thing. Think about how a dog looks at you. When you speak to it, a dog looks at you and he understands perfectly what you're saying. Or you think he does?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that happens.
Oh yeah.
That happens a lot.
Shit, this morning, and we were talking about our cat Stella. We said her name, and she woke up from a dead sleep and got up and walked up and sat on our lap.
Damn.
Well, this is probably not all artificial intelligence, but it could be, right?
Maybe.
I mean, they could
She's an
have it,
FBI
right?
agent or something.
Yeah. Well,
I got two more, and then I'll leave you alone. What'll it take to clear your mind? This is one of those things. This is a song I'm working on. What'll it take to clear your mind?
Yeah.
I ask everybody, tell me the trivial thing that pisses you off the most. And then so I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get ideas from people on it, and simple things, like somebody riding along in the passing lane with the signal light on, or something, or riding the right hand lane with the signal light on. What do you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about
I'm working that.
How about a cold plate at a restaurant?
Cold plate at a
Or
restaurant.
they give you a beer in a warm glass.
In a warm glass.
Yeah, that'd piss
You
you
just want to throw it back at them.
Yeah, for me, I think it's just selfish people. Like buttoning lines by one of them.
Right.
Any line, in person or in a car, and they button. I was like, man, that freaking burns me up.
Yep.
This is just defeats human decency to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, what will it take to clear your mind from that becomes the chorus, and that's the part I'm working on. now.
So if you're pissed, what can you do to?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, these things have to go in there. The actual things.
So these things are happening, and then what does it do to bring you back from not being pissed no more?
Well, I've got like 3 ideas on what it takes to clear your mind, but I won't put those out.
Yeah, save that for the.
Yeah. And one more. All right, I'll let you go. She is like a flower.
Huh.
And that's this one that I'm really, really struggling with. But this one, here it goes. This guy is really in love with this girl, or he thinks he is.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he is in love with her in every way. I mean, she is in his dreams, even type thing.
Right.
I mean, he lusts for her, so to speak. Right. And so he figures, I can't just approach her. So I'm gonna write her this letter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've written the letter. And I've written the letter that he would write.
Yeah.
Right. But then he figures out he can't send the letter to her, so he's gonna write a poem, and he can send the poem pretty. He can write the poem out anonymously, and the poem will be the song. So I'm still working on that.
I like that.
And so the idea that I'm trying to make I'm bringing this up now. I'm trying to make this lustful thing really get in there too.
Yeah. You told me about that.
We've talked about this one. Yeah. Okay.
I'm just picturing like there's some old country songs, like the old, I don't know who they are, but like Conway Twitty or something like that.
There you go.
He's singing a song and he stops. He's like, "Darling, I love you." Yeah.
Right.
Hello, darling.
Yeah. What song is that?
Hello, darling.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Who the hell sings that? Freaking
Conway Twitty.
I don't know.
Is that Conway Twitty?
Yes.
You got to be freaking shitting.
No, we were listening to that song the other week. I don't know how you remember that. But.
God damn.
It actually in my
The cookie,
in
man.
one of the songs. It's the one of the songs I talk about. Will it take to clear your mind?
Yeah.
It's the Vulcan mind meld. It goes from you to you.
Mm.
Yeah, you remember the Vulcan mind meld? You don't. It was in
Star Trek. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. This shit getting eerie up in here, man. I'm getting real.
Conway Twitty.
About time to get off the hill.
Hello, darling.
Hello, darling.
About time to get off.
Hope
the hill.
you're doing
Holy shit.
fine.
That's it.
We were listening to that song the other day. Good. Of all things, we don't watch the show all the time, but Family Guy.
Hey, so when you say we, I wasn't there, right?
No, Frankie and I.
I'm about to say, where the hell did that come from?
I have no idea because I literally listened to that song yesterday. I
It's
think.
the Vulcan mind.
It's a young person pronoun. We.
Yeah. So
Damn.
we were watching Family Guy, and if you ever seen that show, it has like random cuts where they cut to something random, and it was like middle of the episode, and out of nowhere they're like, "And ladies and gentlemen, Conway Twitty," and they played that full song during the episode, and I looked it up. I was like, "What?" Like the guy who writes the Family Guy shows are not Seth Rogen, Seth something, but he said when he was growing up, his dad liked Conway Twitty. And he said every time he would come on TV, he had zero emotion on his face. And he's always singing these real good songs, but his stage presence was zero.
Right.
So he said it was just almost like awkward and funny. So that's why he puts it into the shows because he always.
I'm 99.9% sure that Betty and I went to see Conway Twitty at the mosque.
Really?
Yeah, I know because I was there.
Yeah. Right.
Mid show, he's like, "Let's go." I'm like, but yeah, bitch had like a fake fro, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
He had a perm in his hair, and yeah, he's just like, "Hello, darling." Yeah.
He's kind of creepy, yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah. I don't know, man. He was a wild cat, man. Conway Twitty. Yeah, I mean, but it was a couple stars. It wasn't just him. It was like,
That's weird you brought that up. Because I mean, literally, we listened to him a couple of days ago. Wow. It might have been yesterday.
Jesus, that's wild. I like that. Yeah. All right, so time to get off the hill. So
we'll have you back for another one.
I'd like to come back.
Yeah, I think we need to like
break this into segments.
Yeah, we'll break it into segments, and
yeah.
then we're gonna have to have like we normally don't do this, but we're gonna have to have like a. We can't afford the mic, but we'll have to rent one or something. We'll get Russ up in here too, man.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the float trips or anything.
No shit, man. And then we didn't talk about like all kind of stuff. But one thing here's the lesson I learned a long time ago from you was don't prepay Russ to do anything. Like you paid that bastard to cut the grass.
Oh yeah, okay.
That summer.
Right.
Bastard never cut it but once.
Yeah, right.
And we never saw him the whole summer, man. He never came around because he hadn't cut the grass.
Yeah, he was embarrassed to come. There's another lesson you learned too.
What?
Something don't freeze.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well that wasn't with Ross, but
Liquor don't freeze. He was probably a part of it, yeah.
gin doesn't freeze.
Gin don't freeze.
Wasn't it Tanqueray or something?
Tanqueray, baby.
Tanqueray don't freeze.
Yeah, we'd
Oh, yeah.
steal your Tanqueray, put water in the bottle, and then I was like in the middle. I think Russ was there. Might have been.
Probably.
You wake us up in the middle of the night. Hey, motherfucker, see this? Yeah. Tanqueray don't freeze. Or gin don't freeze. Holy shit.
Oh yeah.
Good times.
All right. You got any thoughts you want to say before we sign out?
No, I appreciate y'all inviting me here.
Yeah. I mean, it is
Come
fun.
back.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
We'll be back, and maybe we're looking forward to the YouTube song coming.
Yeah, I'm working on it. So
fruition.
I'm actually learning how to put the video together.
Good.
So.
It's looking good too.
Yeah, we'll put that up too. So I'll do my little spiel. Wait, before we go. We always
Oh
ask
yeah,
people,
there's one question.
if you were in the electric chair,
Oh my gosh, here we go.
what would your last meal be?
My last meal electric chair.
What
Yeah.
were you thinking the question was going to be?
Oh, I have no idea.
Who would you say you're sorry to or some shit?
Yeah.
So if you were
Yeah, really.
if you were on your deathbed or you're about to get
Your last meal.
your last meal and they said, what would you eat?
Is this some sort of psychological test?
For me, it is. Yeah.
Oh, it is really.
I think you can tell a lot by a person by what they say, but
Oh, I got you. All right.
I mean it's a legit question. Yeah.
No, it's legit. I mean, I pretty much ask every guest.
Oh, do you? Oh, I see. All right. Well, you know, when I was a kid, my mother would. And this is right off the top of my head. We didn't have birthday parties.
Okay.
We didn't have birthday parties, but my mother would fix whatever meal you wanted.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
You know, and of course, growing up in a household like I did, in the limited menu, the limited exposure I had.
Yeah.
That was before the days of pizza, let's say. All right, and so it was a while back. But fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and green peas, angel food cake with pink sticky icing.
That's the best.
That sounds
Sounds
really
pretty
good.
goddamn good. I couldn't eat the peas, but the green beans maybe.
Yeah,
How
that
about
sounds really good.
So
I'll say this right now because what I've noticed is everybody always chooses either a family meal
Right.
or something they grew up with. It's never like some expensive
Like
steak
filet mignon
that you would
or,
go get. Yeah.
Right, that's true.
Veal cordon bleu or something like that.
I know. It's
Right,
always
yeah,
something.
sure.
yeah, because the
funny.
last guest said
Shit, it was her husband's.
her husband's, and I think a couple guests that have come up like her mom's cooking or something. And for you, your mom.
Right.
Yeah, fried chicken, mashed potatoes, peas, and some angel food cake with strawberry icing.
Yeah, man. Pink
That-
sticky icing.
That sounds good, though.
That does sound good.
I love fried chicken, man.
I know nothing's wrong with chicken. Even though my last would be fried catfish, but
There we go.
I ain't thought about it.
I don't think I've ever asked you.
Green beans, rice, and tomatoes.
I think that is what you said last
Yeah,
time.
man.
That's the hill food.
Ain't no doubt. Yeah, you know what? When I'm away, when I'm out of town, I'll call your mom and I say, "What are you having for supper?" Never mind. I know what you're having: green beans and tomatoes and rice.
Damn, I got it honest.
That's what I'm talking about.
We call that the old standby here. She always like, well, I know we got, but she's like, what do you want to have for dinner? I'm like, the old standby. She's like, got it. And that's something I can make too. So
Yeah. Well, I got into I think it was Tommy's bachelor party. Not really. It was the night before his wedding, but it was his brother, his friends, and all
Right.
that. But we got into this whole thing. I was talking about eating. I like plain rice.
Right.
I could eat plain rice with nothing.
yeah.
And they all looked at me like I was crazy. But I told them, I was like, that's what I grew up with.
yeah, I love.
So-
Yeah, whenever Charlie makes rice, I get a whole spoonful and start chugging it down, man.
By itself, right?
Yeah, nothing with it.
Hear that, Tommy? It's a Liverman thing.
Tommy don't eat vegetable soup, man. He don't like soup.
He also doesn't drink beer.
Makes his tummy hurt.
Oh, well, what can you say?
I'm just kidding.
There are those that do and those that don't.
And those that shouldn't. All right, let's call it.
You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and watch us on YouTube. This one will be up in a couple weeks, so we got a couple ahead of you. But
Yeah, it'll be a little bit.
Yeah.
We got the one we got to edit. One more, then you'll be next. Yeah,
yep. So thanks for coming to the
Right.
hill.
yeah, man.
Signing off the hill. Love it.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to On the Hill. Like, subscribe, and follow us wherever you listen to your podcasts. See ya.